bro, it is okay.
Insecure about liking grown women.
Oh yeah, no. There are spaces in anime fandom where they will make you feel insecure about liking grown women, dog. Like they'll be like, I remember it's become immortalized as a meme now. But I was in that thread where the guy was like, I was like, oh, someone at Gainax has a grown woman fetish. I'm like, what?
Bruh.
Grown woman fetish?
Bruh.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Seasonal Discharge. Today, we're going to be talking about the 2026 spring anime season, and I am joined by Tamika Likes to Draw.
Hello.
And NineOuh.
Hello. Konnichiwa minasan.
And I'm Aarlon. The first show we're going to be talking about is Hat Atelier?
Atelier.
Atelier?
It's a French word. It's like an atelier is like an artisan shop where they draw and make like clothing or artistic, accoutrements.
I always confuse this with Riser Atelier. Like every time I hear this come up, I just think of that game series.
The Atelier franchise.
Yeah.
The Atelier franchise that there's inexplicably 25 of.
Yeah. I know next to nothing about it except for the fact that I have some of the games.
That is about another fantasy atelier, a series of fantasy ateliers. Actually, it's a whole thing. It's a word that the Japanese just really happen to like. I don't know. It's just
They like fancy Western words.
Exactly,
and I can respect that.
But yeah, Witch Hat Atelier, very good show. It's basically Freyren, but more of a coming-of-age story than a reflection-of-age story.
I was kind of surprised by that comparison because I did not really get that from the first couple of episodes. It seemed like they were doing like a little bit of a Harry Potter because she was like going to witch school.
I've only seen episode 1, but as soon as I saw the poster for this, I was like, oh, okay, so we're doing the wizarding school thing again.
Yeah, it's more of a Harry Potter thing. It's like...
Yeah,
there's a few different ways you could describe it. Like I said, it's like Freyren but more coming of age, or you could say it's Harry Potter but more medieval.
So I guess it's like the vibes. I mean, it was definitely pretty subdued.
Yeah, it's Iyashike Battle Shonen.
Yeah.
There's this new subgenre that's popping up, Iyashike Battle Shonen, and usually that they run in shonen magazines and they have female main characters, but they're about characters doing battle shonen-y stuff in between long moments of calm and peace. And that's what they do in Freyren, and that's what they do in Witch Hat Atelier.
I actually really appreciate that. I mean, that is kind of the appeal of something like Harry Potter. That you've got the lows, so you it doesn't have to be running at 100 all the time.
It kind of reminds me like that's like the reason why people appreciate like filler in Dragon Ball Z, for example. That's what it reminds me of.
Kind of the same, but not shit.
I'm just saying, green-haired Coco that likes to draw, I'm suing for stolen likeness, and they whitewashed me. Just saying.
Yeah, I thought the drawing magic system was pretty cool.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be a show that will be very appreciated by folks who like low-key fantasy. And also the director, Ayumu Watanabe, he's directing 2 shows this season because he's also doing Akane Banashi.
Shit, what do I know Watanabe from?
No, I think you're thinking of Akio Watanabe.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, from Monogatari.
Yeah, this is Ayumu Watanabe. He did Ganglion last year. He did You Are Miss Seven. He did Komi Can't Communicate.
Yeah, and I gotta say, the animation in this is actually pretty good.
They also have Gojo.
Yeah, that was the first thing I thought of when I saw him. Wizard Gojo.
Ever since Jujutsu Kaisen hit peak popularity, I've noticed a trend in manga where there's like an arms race for coolest teacher. There's like an arms race right now for like coolest big brother figure / teacher. And right now it's like Descaras from Ichi the Witch, and you've got this guy from this dude from what's it called? From Witch Hat Atelier. What was his name again?
Kifri. Yeah, Kifri.
All these names are so French, but like but like old
Well,
French, like
it's actually funny because you said that you said atelier is a French word, and you're telling me now that the names are also French. But like in because I watched this dubbed, as they always do with medieval accents, they chose to use
yeah,
British
everyone has a British
accents.
accent. Everyone has a British
Yeah.
accent. It's really funny. Yeah, no, but like
And they're probably all Americans.
Why did they go with French accents then?
it's a very French inspired series. Like even from like
They should have
from the
done that.
way they do the geography to the way they do like the
Yeah.
architecture and whatnot.
Coco, how would the dub actors know how to do a bad French accent? That's not a stereotype Americans care about.
Hey man, I'm sure if we go into like watch one of these 4Kids things, there's probably a few people there who can do that.
Yeah, all of these names are they're either French sounding or some kind of Middle Europe sounding, like from Germany to like the Netherlands.
And speaking of the fact that this show is like very European inspired, did you guys see that this show got into like a bit of a controversy because it's kind of like the House of Dragon? What was the other show that aired roughly around the same time as House of Dragon that was also a fantasy show? I forget. Um, a lot of like those kind of take place in settings that are like
Was it the Lord of the Rings one?
probably that
Rings of
sounds right.
Power?
Yeah, Rings of Power. I think it was that. Rings of Power and House of the Dragon. They came out roughly around the same time. They're shows that, I mean, Rings of Power is more like general fantasy, but like, there's like an old-timey Europe inspiration there. And kind of like with those shows, people were accusing Witch Hat Atelier of being astroturfed for like DEI reasons because this show happens to have background characters of color in it. And I'm like, guys,
Why do we even entertain this conversation
come
still?
on.
Like you should know better you should know better. You should know who you're talking to. You should know that anytime that like come on, no, there's no reason to take any of that seriously. There's no reason to take
It's
any of
because
that
every time we do the podcast, I can't help but comment on like seeing some of the cringe online reactions I
That's just
see to
crazy. Because it's not even like main characters. It's just like they were looking in the background and like squinted at it.
Oh no, it's enough for that just to be brown anything. If there's
Yeah.
brown anything, no, like if any character of any kind in any media is seen and they have skin that does not pass the brown paper bag test,
Yeah.
they will pitch a fit. They will pitch a fit.
Yeah.
And like what upsets me is that like I don't think we can truly say we live in a quote unquote post-racial society when most media, one of the key and I don't say this lightly, I say this as someone who's been in the rooms where these discussions have been had and where these decisions are made, like when most media is still made from the perspective of we don't want to upset too many racists.
Yeah.
Well, they just need to not make it political.
Still to this day, that is how they make media. They say we don't want to upset too many races, so your main character can't be black, or there's too many black people in the main cast, or we need to soften this tone up for certain things.
They just need to make him black in a way that isn't political.
Okay.
How the hell do you do that? Don't you know that the very existence of black people itself is a touchy subject?
That sounds like a you problem.
The fact that you're having this conversation in the first place, Mr. Man, is a political stance. That's a political stance as well. That's literally a political stance is not wanting to have to deal with politics. What that is a dog whistle for.
I think Aarlon was being sarcastic.
It's only when it's something I don't agree with that it's political.
Exactly. It has to be harped on about, because what it's a dog whistle for is I'm fine with the way things are. Stop talking about it.
That standard is very hard to pass because, for example, a lot of like people of this type will be like, "Oh yeah, of course I like Static Shock," but that's because it's a show that's already proven its worth so, like a long time ago.
No,
so.
it's not even that. It's because it came out before. It's literally just time. It came out before there was a reason to be angry at everything.
Before the gating movement.
It's literally the Spider-Man meme.
Exactly.
Wait, guys, but before we get too sidetracked, do we want to go into the plot of Witch Hat Atelier a little bit?
Which is a show about a little girl who doesn't believe in the power of restraint, and she decides that what she's going to do is learn how to draw magic spells in a book that a shady man with a mask gave her. And she had the bright idea, being able to look at this book and see what these spells were. She had the bright idea to trace one that was sitting on top of a scary looking ice dragon. If you
I didn't even notice that about this.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, I did not notice the scening. So in the book that she gets from the scary wizard hobo, that she buys the book from.
I have a fan theory about this.
Okay,
because it was definitely so the thing about this show is that the whole concept of magic and that you can draw it is a well-kept secret in this world, and everyone thinks it's a genetic thing. So it's not until she figures it out through seeing
she sees Kipri doing it.
Yeah, so it's a hidden, there's a hint to it though, that he gave her this book with the wand, and then it's a metaphorical thing that the wand is the pen.
The pen.
My point is not even any of that. I get all of that. My point is that when she gets the book and she opens it, the first spell she sees, it's a guy shooting sparks. She does the actual drawing, it makes sparks come out. Okay.
No,
so
I'm with you on this. I agree that was incredibly stupid of her.
with logic,
with the dragon.
She should know that, okay, these spells are going to correspond to what the drawing is. All right, calm. She then chooses.
No, that's my point, though. Is I actually think that's interesting because
I think it's interesting too. I mean, she's crazy.
But this dude that gave her the book, I'm wondering if it was not a malicious thing and was actually designed to be a recruitment tool, because it's basically designed to lead you into you figure out on your own that magic is something you draw by following the clues. And then looking at what we saw of the book, it seems it started with really basic spells, and then it's working up to more intense stuff. So it seems it was designed for her to go through, and she would have known okay, well, now we're getting into the crazier stuff, so I
probably shouldn't do this in my house. Yeah.
With her dunder head, she decided to start tracing a dragon.
I mean, one of the spells she does in that scene when she's going through all the spells is a fire spell. I feel after doing the fire spell alone, I feel I probably shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah, I should probably do this outside. I should do this in my house. I should sneak outside and do this in the woods.
Because in the end, she ends up crystallizing the whole house, and she basically gets her mom frozen. That's the inciting incident of the first episode.
Yeah.
It could have just been a bunch of woodland creatures that she froze, just practicing by herself, and instead she froze her flipping mom.
Yeah,
that ridiculous premise. But you know what? It's a fun show. It's a great fun show. And in the newer episodes, her fucking friends, not friends, her classmates are being mean to her. Or at least one of them is. They sent her on this test that she would have no reason to know how to do, but the show does this thing where oh no, she has a talent for drawing magic because of all of the cloths that she used to draw and cut when she was a kid. So it's a very cool integration of her real life learned skill and how it's helped her in the magical realm.
I mean, the wizard did compliment her on that
and call it similar to magic. Yeah. That in of itself is a kind of magic. Yeah.
What he said was, now that's real magic. And he obviously meant it as what you do is magical, but he also does mean it as a double entendre, as that's basically what real magic is.
Pretty genius.
Kid motivation, by the way, is he's trying to find that shady wizard that
Yep.
he
Yeah,
ran
which
into.
is why he let her keep her memories and go to magic school. Okay, I have one more thing to say about this, which is that the magic, the fact that they keep the magic to themselves actually for some
Well,
reason made me think about the AI conversation.
oh, I thought you were about to say, "Oh man, this is cringe." Like how they keep the magic to themselves in Harry Potter, and they should like share it because it would obviously improve society.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying though. It's like
I don't
it's
believe. I believe secret magic makes sense. I believe a group of people knowing how to operationally change the definitional like structure of the universe and deciding, okay, yeah, regular people shouldn't have this. That makes all the sense in the fucking world, bro. Like, because I mean, imagine if there was a secret society that had guns. Like if guns hadn't been proliferated.
but
That
that's
doesn't.
literally like
Military.
the argument that companies like Anthropic make when they don't want like the AI tools to be open.
Well,
They're saying like,
that's
well, like we can't just give it to everybody because then they
you know
just
that's
like
yeah. Well,
abuse it.
they're lying. Obviously, that when they do it, it's obviously just pernicious lying in order to IP guard their product because they're a corporation. Obviously, they're gonna say that. But I'm saying like if we were talking about real life, actual, universe altering stuff. And I wouldn't want the average Tom, Dick, and Harry to have it. I wouldn't even want I would want it eradicated from the world immediately. I wouldn't even want the fucking small cabal of wizards to have it.
Damn,
I'd be
that's
one of the.
dreaming too small. I want like my magic healthcare system where you just walk into the hospital and they cure you instantly with magic because every nurse in the hospital knows magic and can cure
Uh-uh.
at least cure spells.
No, get a degree. No, get a degree. I would be one of the wizards who turned on the wizard tribe and tried to get magic banished forever. Absolutely. I don't believe. I don't
Damn.
believe anybody. I don't believe anybody should. No one should have this power. No one
Yeah.
should be able to play God.
I mean, it's kind of like just giving everyone a button that launches a nuke. Like,
Yeah.
Either that or I would be a proliferationist. It's either no one gets to have it or fuck it. Let's push this as far as it can go.
Pure unfiltered anarchy, magic anarchy.
Yeah, like
Interesting.
that's because like it's either it's so dangerous that no one should have it, or let's make it less dangerous by letting everyone
The,
have it.
the right to bear magic shall not be infringed. That's what I believe in.
Right to bear my like I feel like that's a uniquely American story that should be made. Like the right to bear magic or something, like a series about like I don't know, like the
Okay.
political implications of being a wizard.
You might be cooking there.
magic doesn't kill people. People kill
People kill.
Literal witch hunts.
Next is Marriagetoxin. Man, this one, I just watched that and it's so damn good. Maybe my favorite show of the season.
Someone said it reminded them of JoJo. I don't necessarily see where the JoJo comparison comes
Yeah, I
in.
don't get that.
I don't see the JoJo comparison, but I will say it has like the animation style has a very what was this? It's Bones doing this, right?
Is it?
Yeah, Bones film. So yeah, I was right to say that the animation style has kind of almost a My Hero vibe to it, but it's a lot edgier though. I guess
Yeah.
I would say, and
Yeah.
the premise is very edgy. It's edgy and also wholesome at the same time.
Yeah,
It's
like
an assassin with a heart of gold wants to get hitched.
he wants to find the one.
Yes.
And he proposes to a femboy in the process. And then
And
the
he
femboy
said
laughs.
no.
He said no.
Devastating.
He said no, but he's gonna be his wingman and try and try and help him find the one. But I feel like we have a pretty good idea of where this is going. I think.
I actually was thinking about this, and I was wondering if the fact that they made him a femboy wasn't specifically so to like eliminate him from the running immediately and be like, no, this show is about looking for like a new person. We're not just pairing him up with the first person.
Actually, to be fair, even though he identified as a man, in a way, he's kind of like a gender fluid king because for his job, he actually goes back and forth between adopting.
Therefore he's a femboy. He's a femboy. He uses his male feminine wiles, both dressed as a man and a woman. That is what femboys do.
Unfortunately, I don't think he can get boy preggers, which is what the main character needs.
That's the most important thing here, and that's not gonna happen.
That is true.
Unfortunately, it's a manga for. Unfortunately, it's an anime for breeders. It's propaganda.
We were talking about how Witch Hat Atelier had controversy because of chuds reacting to it, and I'm actually kind of surprised at the fact that Marriagetoxin has not had any of that.
Marriagetoxin is not going to have that. How have you been in otaku culture this long and you don't know the nuances? Marriagetoxin is not going to get any kind of flack because it's a femboy.
I know. People are okay with the only time they get mad at femboys is when they decide to make them trans.
Exactly. They have not said nothing about trans yet. That's the reason why.
I'm mainly I'm mainly talking about not just because I'm 50-50. In the end, the two characters are definitely going to get hitched together. That's obviously where this is going, I think. But then there's also there's a subtle commentary on family pressure to do things the traditional way and get married and pump up babies, and the two siblings are obviously not interested in that at all.
He's also doing this to save his sister's lesbian relationship, which is so adorable.
That was interesting that they just had. I feel like you don't see a lot of that in anime. To just have
You're seeing it more now. We're getting it now. It's I feel like we
you mean having couples, lesbian couples, but the show itself isn't a full Yuri show?
Yeah, exactly. It's just incidental.
Yeah, it's just
we're seeing it a lot more now. Mainly with the fact that Yuri has become such a big genre. People are realizing that maybe girls can love girls.
You can have girls just be lesbians without it being in the lesbian genre.
Yeah, no, that's how it was. That's how it was, paraded. That's how it has been paraded.
That sounds like they're making it political. Not appreciated.
There aren't enough episodes of Marriagetoxin out for me to have a proper take, because I think episode 3 comes out tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say that I didn't expect it to have the kind of action it does. They said it was an action series. I didn't bother checking out the manga.
The guy's a poison guy, so you'd think that most of his way of approaching things would be pretty stealthy. But then there's a big action piece in the middle of episode 1, and then there's a second one when he breaks the car in half. And
yeah, there seems to be a little bit of battle shonen-iness and mixed in there. I actually really appreciated the world building of all these crazy over the top assassins that we briefly meet.
Yeah, that caught me by surprise because I was expecting this to be a fairly grounded show. The only thing I knew about it was that it had a femboy, which to be fair kind of seems like a little bit of a spoiler that everyone was just talking about that. But I was like, wait, why the fuck does he suddenly have a spider coming out of his why does he have a snake tongue now? The hell's going on?
That was a good subversion, by the way, that I really thought the one who turned out to be the femboy was going to just be the this was just going to be a rom-com or something, and that was going to be the girl, and then he turned him down.
I feel kind of cringe a little bit because when I was seeing the assassin guys struggling, cause the femboy takes him out on speed dating events to help him try and romance people, and I'm like, man, at least this guy actually has an excuse for being as socially inept and stunted as he is. As he was born and raised an assassin. There is no excuse for me being practically exactly the same. Because I was just seeing myself when he was doing that. I would shit myself in an event like that.
That's why you don't go to those. Those are just. There's never a reason. There's never a reason to go to one of those ever.
Well, even
Ever.
in general, just like approaching, trying to romance people, nah. I do that behind a screen, and then once I've confirmed that it's worked out behind the screen, that's when I go and meet the person. That's what I do.
That's as safe as you can be with it these days.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, it's not that many episodes of Marriagetoxin. I haven't seen the next show on the list though.
Oh, Ingoku Danchi. Oh man.
I also haven't seen that.
I think I'm the only person who's seen this show, so I'll try to be quick about it. So, Aarlon, you probably know this. When it comes to anime and manga,
oh my goodness, I'm looking at the key art of
yeah.
this. What on earth is this nonsense?
So here's the thing. When it comes to anime and manga, you could say I'm something of a degenerate, okay? So I like ecchi and fan service. I like ecchi, fan service, etc. And like, how many years ago has it been?
Is this a series replete with infidelity?
Yeah, something along those lines. So like 2 years ago, discovered Shin Mano Testament, I realized, holy shit, ecchi can be like so much more explicit than I thought. And so through searching like the tags, like filtering specifically for high percentage nudity and shit like that, I stumbled into this manga, which is basically kind of like softcore porn. And like the premise is, okay, so you have this guy. For some reason, like I guess it's because his dad is sick. Like the kid has become like the manager of this apartment complex. And like the dad describes a lot of the people who live on that complex as being a little bit off, which is putting it very mildly, because the first person that we deal with in the first chapter and the first episode is a literal pedophile, like straight up. Like,
oh, it's this one.
yeah. And when I first read the manga for this, I was like, okay, listen, I'm not someone who's like,
wait, wheel up the last part again.
one of the women that live in this apartment complex is an actual pedophile, like just straight up.
From the PV I'm seeing, it seems all the women who live in this apartment complex are actual pedophiles.
That might even be the case, because when I read the first chapter of this, like, okay, I'm not someone who's like super prudish about Shotokan or Lolicon. I don't care. I've read my fair share of doujin.
I'm a Shotokan enjoyer.
Yeah, I've read my fair share of doujin.
It's one of the reasons why they can never cancel Carry Pami to me.
But the thing about it is that the way that the manga went about it was so incredibly unsettling. I was like, I cannot read this. I was actually legitimately creeped out by the woman. Like she's like hugging kids that live in the apartment complex for too long. There's like a scene where they like cut to her like using her vibrator to a shrine of pictures of little boys, and she legit, and the whole time she's just like, why is everyone judging? Because I think they like took her kid away from her, and that's why now she's like possessive of other little boys. Because she like misses her son, and it's like, oh Jesus, this is so fucking.
So it's like an Oedipus Freudian thing.
A reverse Oedipus, yes. And it's very creepy. And like there's like maybe like 30 seconds of actual porn in this before the episode of this was only 2 minutes. And I understand that like over the past few seasons we've been getting shows that range from being softcore hentai to just actually being hentai that are like
y'all remember Nukitashi?
Yeah, I did watch that actually. But I'm also mean like there's a very specific type where the episodes are only like 2 to 4 minutes long. And you know what? I can't be mad at that because hentai definitely doesn't run the clock much more than it needs to,
And they're usually super boring anyway, even though they're only like 2 minutes.
Yeah, that was my whole thing is I found this a little bit unsettling. I mean, for what it's worth, I still have the manga in my plan to read, and I probably will not be watching the anime, but I found that first chapter very disturbing. If anything, now I'm kind of just enduring out of morbid curiosity. Although I'm pretty sure it's just going to be porn.
This is why your plan to read is like 1,000 shows.
Yes.
Or manga.
I mean, my plan to watch is that long too. So
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say on Ingoku Danchi. It's
All right.
fucking creepy. It's
I will definitely either check it out later or not. Maybe I don't know. Sounds like it's a lot. Not
No,
sure.
you
I think
gotta watch it.
I think there's
You
Not
like a
sure.
gotta
weird
get the
thing. So
context.
Not sure if my morality can handle that.
there is a thing where like I had written in my notes for a second there, I almost felt sympathetic for that woman because she was clearly in the last episode, she was clearly brainwashed into like actually assaulting like one of the kids. But in my mind, I'm like, okay, but she's still masturbating to them. Like even though she would never actually assault them, she's still masturbating to them. So like,
No,
I
that
don't
means
know.
she's a map, Coco.
She's nah.
He's simply just a wee, defenseless, minor attracted person.
Nah, we do not stand. We do not stand.
Next is Mistress Kanan is Devilishly Easy.
I read this title and I did not want to read. I did not want to imbibe. I did not want to inhale. So y'all are gonna have to tell me about this.
I mean, it was fine. It's about the devil's daughter goes to Earth because she wants to eat human souls, and she like goes to a school and works up the social ladder, and then she's gonna eat someone. But then it turns out he like immediately makes her fall in love with him.
She constantly projects being a dom, but she's actually an innocent, sweet little girl, and she's completely naive and inexperienced when it comes to sex, despite trying to project a more experienced image, which I have to say is a character archetype that I don't. Maybe it's common. I'm not sure, but
Why are they just making hentai dojins into anime now?
well, this one hasn't. Okay, so here's the thing about this one.
No. What I mean is this is the premise of something that would just have sex in it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
For what it's worth, you say that, but like there actually are hentai dojins that did start out as hentai dojins that then go on to get regular anime later. That's happened a few times now over the past year. And I don't know why that's happening, but
Regular anime or hentai anime or like
no, like regular. So, for example, there's this one manga, I forget what it's called. It's about a dark elf or something. And like it had like a hentai dojin first. The mangaka was like, "Fuck it, I want to make a slice of life manga version of this." And then
Oh, I
they
think I
made
know
an
what you're
anime
talking about.
adaptation of that. And there's been a few
What's it called
instances of
again?
that. Uh, it's like Dark Elf something or other. And it's not the only one. It's happened a few times. There was another one last season or the
Or was
season
it
before.
Yandere Dark Elf?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yandere Dark Elf, yeah.
I should have known that. I edited that episode.
When I saw that, I was like, "What the fuck? What?" Because I'd read the Dojin. The Dojin was pretty fucking odd, but Kanan is Devilishly Easy is not one of those. But I did hear, I've seen some people say
Wait,
that it does get pretty
oh
intense
wait,
later on.
this is this is the same as that? Oh, because I was like, what dojin are you talking about? Then I'm looking at them like, no, I do recognize. Oh my god, that's where Yandere Dark Elf came from. The fuck?
Yeah.
Oh,
And the funny thing is, the premise of some of the episodes are basically just heavily neutered versions of the premise of some of the chapters from the Hentai Dojin. And I'm kind of like, why didn't you guys just animate the porn? Why not just animate the actual thing?
because it's not. They won't be able to put it on Crunchyroll if they did
Just
that.
just give it to Studio Passion and then
They
put it
wouldn't
on
be able
like
to. They wouldn't be able
Ocean
to put it on
Vale.
Crunchyroll. They wouldn't be able to put it on Crunchyroll. That's where the money is.
Whatever happened to that whole thing with like N hentai going legit? Like they wanted to be the Crunchyroll of hentai.
Not N Hentai. Faku went legit though.
It was Faku who went legit.
Yeah, Faku went legit. They've been legit for a long time now. That was a long time
I
ago.
also think they're like having struggles because there's like other artist owned platforms where they want to just put their stuff there.
I mean, the thing is, like, I'm not like, for example, I remember when they first went legit. I was like, like in college when that was the case. I was just like, I'm not paying for this, so I'm just gonna Google the name of what's on here because I know it's probably gonna be like I'm not paying for hentai. Like you're there, you're like super horny. You're not in the mood to like bring out your bank card and put in your details to subscribe to
That
the
would just
platform.
make you feel. That would make you feel like you needed to quit doing that.
Don't tell Japanese Twitter about that.
Damn.
Don't, man. Listen. At this point, I've learned that like. At this point, I've learned that like the way a lot of like this stuff is going, like I said earlier, is just it's really not even a good example of the sample size of Japanese culture. Because like from what I've been seeing, a lot of other Japanese people are like, yeah, no, a lot of this stuff, a lot of these folks are crazy, and
Yeah.
I saw some guy on Twitter write like a whole manifesto, like he himself is Japanese, about how like modern otakus are basically just cucked. Because back in the day, modern otakus used to pirate like all the time. And like,
yeah, oh.
So
it's how I know I probably have more in common with old school Japanese culture than I do with like whatever's going on there now.
We can circle back to that when we talk about gals can't be kind to otaku, because I was also thinking about that in regards to that show.
But watch Mistress Kanan. It is pretty funny. And I heard that it actually does toe the line between. I have a pet name for what I like to pet name and a name for what I like to call stuff like Shinmai Mao. I like to call it not hentai. And I hear that at some point, Kanan kind of gets pretty close to being like that, and I'm pretty enthusiastic about that.
I thought it was fine. The main guy, I mean, it's kind of the point that he's like extremely forward, but he's extremely forward to the point that he almost comes off as like a little bit risky.
I was thinking more like he comes across as like a bit of a sleaze, because like
honestly,
I remember
I prefer those kinds of main characters in ecchi. I hate good boy main characters in ecchi series.
Damn,
they are the fucking worst.
Are you like a huge fan of Heaven's Lost Property then?
Heaven's Lost Property is great. It's a great series. It's a real man series right there. It's a real man series right there. Put hair on your chest. Put some hair on your chest.
No, but I thought he came across as a bit of a sleaze because in the first episode, she's like he misinterprets her saying she wants to devour his soul as her wanting to fuck him, and like immediately after he like proclaims his like feelings for her, and I'm like, bro, this is the most like playboy like, but then it just turns out that he's kind of like earnest in a way.
Yeah, that was like the twist at the end of the episode, is he got like a single human moment. It's like, oh, he's not only a sleazebag, he is still a human being, and that's enough for him to now be the legit love interest.
And I just want to say one last thing that I did find pretty funny. He keeps constantly talking about having sex with her at some point. And I'm just saying, if there's no payoff for that, that's an L on the manga. Okay, you gotta have a payoff for that. But I did find it funny that the character who is the literal daughter of Satan is like, aren't we supposed to wait until marriage? Like, that's pretty funny. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, that's all I have to say. It was pretty good.
Next is Mao. Wait, isn't that demon?
Mao.
Yes, it's
Chairman Mao.
It's not Mao. It's just Mao.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mao means demon king. Mao is just demon.
Oh, because O is king.
Yes.
Mao.
Mao is a series based on what's it called? Rumiko Takahashi's series that she wrote in the 90s, around the time she wrote Inuyasha, not long after she wrote Inuyasha. Let me actually get the timeline exactly correct on this, because she did Inuyasha. Oh, never mind. Mao's like her newest series. What am I saying? That's like what she's got running in Shonen Sunday like right now. It's the thing she did after Rine. Before that, she was doing Inuyasha. And I would say it's Mao is essentially she's doing the same thing again. Girl falls in love with a kind of angry or stoic bad boy, and in Inuyasha's case it was more angry, in Rine's case it was a little bit more stoic. I kind of feel like she combined both Rine and Inuyasha, because now she has like basically a character who's kind of working, to eliminate demons and whatnot, but is also infested with some kind of like animal demon spirit. In Inuyasha it was a dog. The guy was like half dog demon or whatever, and in Mao the guy has a cat demon inside him. So it's very interesting.
It's genius.
It's very interesting to see. It's very interesting to see how Rumiko Takahashi just does the same manga again, but makes it work every time.
So is the next one gonna be like, since we're doing like the domesticated like pet animals, is the next one gonna be like a hamster spirit or like
Probably
like a fish spirit, and like he comes from Atlantis, and
I
like the
could dig
girl
that.
the girl almost drowns, and then meets him in the
I'd
underwater.
want the hamster one. That could have some neat mix.
It's just interesting that you can just be like, I think this time I want to do this type of combination, and then you just build it from there. It's like an infinite.
Well, that's kind of just how all things are. That's like every isekai is just like, let's take this same story but just change out one element.
Nah, isekai is like the worst version of that, but it's true. You are right.
Next is Petals of Reincarnation. NineOuh, do you want to summarize this one?
it's like it's like essentially if Fate Stay Night had the logic of Digimon Tamers, more or less.
Damn it. I was gonna watch this and I forgot to. There were like two shows I downloaded that I skipped by mistake. It was this and Liar Game that I skipped by accident.
No, Petals of Reincarnation is really good. It's a Wit Studio anime, so it's kind of got this like wispy, flat 2D style to their drawings, which serves the show well. Is it a Wit Studio anime actually? I might be confusing it with something.
It was
else.
colored in a pretty bold way. It kind of reminded me of almost even something like No Game, No Life, but maybe a little bit toned down.
No, it's Ben 10 Film, which Ben 10 Film, Ben 10 Film, which is the studio that was built on the remains of the Gainax company.
Oh, I guess this is their first show, I guess.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, they did a good job.
Yeah.
I love how Fate Zero is literally in the recommendations under this on AniList. So there you go.
Yeah. The gimmick of this one is that I guess they need like to slit their own throat with like a special knife for some reason.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
And it like brings out
it's edgy. It's edgy as fuck. It's on some Persona 3 shit.
Yeah, it's edgy in a way that feels out of its time almost. Like this feels like something I would have been really into in like middle school.
Yeah, this feels like mid 2000s. Like it feels, a lot of stuff feels like it's harkening back to that era of kind of like straight and dirty battle shonen where they have a bunch of super edgy shit in it.
You guys were not kidding about these comparisons. I can see fucking female Albert Einstein in the character listing here. Okay.
Yeah. So basically how it works is you take this knife and you slit your throat with it, and it basically pairs you up with some random I don't even know how this works, but like
well, it's someone you like reincarnated. Like that's like a past life of yours.
So apparently like you're reincarnating as one of your past lives, and one of the guys, the main character is Ishikawa Goemon, the famous ninja thief from history. And this other girl, the other main girl is Musashi Miyamoto, which is hilarious. And there's someone who's Hitler, by the way.
What?
Oh my god.
Who was Hitler? Wait, was that the
we haven't
guy?
seen them yet.
Oh,
we haven't seen them yet.
Okay.
Oh, it's this show. I actually recognize this Hitler design because there was a bit of a thing on Twitter where people were losing their shit over the fact that AniList does not allow you to favorite this character. I mean, it doesn't allow you to favorite any version of Hitler in any anime, actually.
Yeah, I feel
And
like
then,
that's a good idea. That's a good idea.
and someone
Good
pointed
idea right
out that
there.
that's because a bunch of dickheads would go and fucking make Hitler like the top character. And like someone proved it by like showing that fucking Hitler on my anime list has like a shit ton of votes on there. So I can kind of see that, but I still think it's an
There's a
L.
bunch of the thing is there's a bunch the way they're going about which historical figures they use in this series is a lot more esoteric than
Some people say that like Fate generally tries to be less controversial in who they who they try to
yeah.
use. Like they would never use like fucking Jesus Christ, even though that seems like such an obvious fucking.
Well, okay, but Jesus is the problem is Jesus is a character in Fate, and they have carved out a piece for him in the mythology, which it's just complicated. I don't want to get into Fate mythology right now, but what's it called? The logic behind how they actually like choose which characters are put in this series, right? The characters that people transform into.
Mhm.
It's a lot more. They have a lot more to choose from, I guess. There's some that you would expect. There's Hitler, right? There's Musashi. There's
Yeah.
Jubei Yagyu. There's Florence Nightingale. But then there's like John V. Neumann, who's like the head of the main. And the thing is, John V. Neumann was, I don't know how to put this, but he was like one of the guys who worked in the Manhattan Project, right? He worked alongside Oppenheimer and Einstein and all them, but he was the guy who kind of wanted them to scale back what the nuclear capabilities would be, right?
Wait, they made him a girl too.
They made him a girl in a wheelchair. They made him a
Bruh.
girl in a wheelchair.
That's
And
crazy.
They made Isaac Newton have an apple for a head.
His head is an apple. Yes.
Imagine being just like some guy who's some scientist, and then you find out that like in the future people will like be jerking off to a rule. What's the rule? Rule 30.
I think it's 63.
63 version of you.
That is pretty funny. You know, that just reminds me of like we're trying to avoid going to that fake conversation because of the obvious comparisons, but that just reminds me of the whole like, well, back in the day when they did like the gender swapping and there was actually like narrative justification for it, and now they just do it because my fan service. And it sounds like that's kind of what's going on here, because I don't think there's any like narrative weight behind the gender swapping of these people. They're just doing it because they want to, I guess. Because we want to have more cute girls in the cast.
Which is fair.
True. I mean, I have a lolly Jesus in my comic, so
Based. But the twist of this is that the setup is that it's an organization designed to take out like the evil reincarnations that are using their powers for bad, and they recruit the main character, and then you find.
I just want to know what side is Hitler on all this.
I'm the bad guy. The part of the like evil villain. Like
Nah, because
basically,
the Japanese sometimes do some wacky shit. I'm just saying.
yeah,
like,
but like we should accept that like some of them are when the ones that are writing manga, you're not gonna get away with Hitler being the hero in a manga. It's not how that.
not unless her name is Tanya.
1984.
She is not Hitler. Okay, she if anything, she's von Rausenberg, and that's a very very different kind of person.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, no, she's I don't know, Tanya the Evil. Looking forward to season 2 this year. Can't wait. It's gonna be great.
You basically find out at the end of the episode that the main character is able to use his thief abilities to steal other people's powers. So now he's going to be like stealing powers behind the good guys' backs because he's not actually good. He's got like a pathological obsession with becoming talented. because he has like a brother complex.
It was kind of obvious a little bit of what happened in the last episode. They showed who the original founder of the garden was, and it looked exactly like his older brother.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
They're likely going to, reveal that his older brother was murdered by the bad guys, and that's going to give him a reason to actually not just be an ability thief, and actually have like a real motivation in the show. But regardless,
man, I kind of liked it that it was like a little bit edgier. It's fun to have a main character that has more gray motivation.
Yeah, sometimes. No, especially when their ability is literally to just steal other ability. But I would like to know more about the nature of it. Does stealing the ability mean the original owner no longer has it?
Is he like Mega Man? Because like in
it seems like it does mean that, because the stabby guy in the first episode was like, give me my power back. And I also wonder if there's not like a limit on how many he can use, because it seemed like, at least with the two he had in the first episode, each one like took up an arm. So like, I guess it takes up real estate on your body to activate them.
I mean, and he also has like essentially the ability to have like infinite talents, more or less.
It's a good way to kind of control like the guy who takes other people's powers trope is so hard to write, because they immediately become ridiculously OP,
overpowered. Yeah,
so I do like, and like
no, you just gotta make it like Mega Man, where like after a certain period of time he just loses them.
In War Executioner, which is a manhwa I like, that's how it works, that he can only equip like two at a time or something, so he at least has to like be thoughtful about which two he chooses to equip.
Yeah, what to keep, what to discard. It's like HMs. That's what it sounds like in Pokemon.
Next is Go For It, Nakamura-kun.
I've not seen this one. I haven't seen this one, but I have heard sad news about the author. Apparently, they got chased off the internet for some reason.
Oh yeah, I did see something about that, but I didn't look into it, even though I'm the one who's always like, oh, time to look up the online cringe about the seasonals and then bring it up onto the podcast. But I did not look into why that was. But I mean, to be honest, in general, it kind of seems like it's becoming a very real problem, that mangaka getting like harassed off the internet. Like, I mean, some people stick around and endure it, like the mangaka for Gachi Akuda, but it, yeah, kind of seems like.
Wait, I feel like maybe I saw this, or maybe it was something. I feel like I saw some mangaka people like calling them a pal. I guess that doesn't narrow it down at all.
That does not narrow it down at all.
I don't think it was about. It was not about that. It was not about pedophilia.
Yeah, for the first time, it wasn't.
But as for the actual,
did you hear about Gege getting nabbed for hanging out with a bunch of pedos?
Oh yeah, I did see that, and it's funny because here's the thing. You know how like battle shonen fans like to like scale the anime and manga, where they're like, oh man, One Piece. So they like do it with like the mangaka themselves, right? So they're like, Kishimoto Maiko could never associate with pedophiles the way Oda Your Goat associates with Rurouni Kenshin guy. And then like, JJK fans were like coming in and like bragging as well.
Everybody occasionally has to completely shut the fuck up whenever it comes time to draw for Watsuki.
Yeah.
Everybody except Bleach fans have to shut the fuck up whenever it has to,
Well, Kubo Kubo just seems to dislike all these guys. So he's clean, because the fact that he like dislikes all of these mangaka means that there's no chance of him accidentally associating with a pedophile unless he himself ends up being one. So
that's my goat.
the best.
That's why he's the best.
the best way to avoid being associated with Petals is just be like, I fucking hate all of you, I guess.
The only one, so the only issue I have is that Gege got nabbed for hanging out with a pedo, and Kubo hangs out with Gege. So I'm just worried that it might.
No.
Damn.
So,
What's the term? Like, not quiet by, it's like kind of like guilt by association, but not quiet.
yeah,
Kevin Bacon.
guilt by associated association. Like he's two
Yes.
circles removed from the pedophile. Which again, not a good look. Never a good look to be any. Even you need to be like 4 circles or less removed from
Yeah.
the pedophile. Like four circles or more. I mean, so yeah, that's all that's acceptable.
But go for it, Nakamura-kun. I guess this is maybe a little embarrassing to admit. I don't know. This is actually, I think this is true. I'm not sure because I've actually watched a lot of anime. This might actually be the first like fully boys love anime that I have watched. Um, and yeah, that is
Aw.
basically that's basically what it is. It's about a guy called Nakamura who is deeply in love with his classmate whose name I cannot remember right now. And the whole first episode is basically about him just trying to strike up a conversation with him just to ask him if they can be friends. You know, one thing I actually kind of appreciated about this show, first and foremost, was the fact that there's no like, wait a minute, I'm gay or anything about that. It's just like the guy's in love with him and he's already trying to make his move. I'm maybe this is just like me being like Western brained. It's entirely possible that most like yaoi and yuri don't even do this, but you know,
Well, there's kind of an even split.
yeah. So
It's
I,
kind of
I
an even split.
I can appreciate that. I can appreciate that. I mean, I did kind of question it a little bit just because it takes place in Japan, but whatever. It's fine.
I think the first ever BL I ever watched was what was it called? Number 6. If anyone knows what that
I
is.
am unfamiliar.
That's a real old show. Never mind.
Also, one thing that was kind of cute is I find it kind of funny that they tried to do this misdirect when they first started the episode where like so when he says I'm in love with someone, they close up on one of his female classmates and then they pan over her head to the guy that he's actually in love with, which would have been a funny little reveal if it wasn't for the fact that I'm pretty sure going into this, everyone knows that it's a BL thing because this manga, the manga version of this is actually, I don't know if I'd say it's like super popular, but it definitely became like a meme. Like if you're familiar with the Go For It meme.
I did not know this was Boys Love. The only thing I knew about it was, isn't this the one that you posted like a GIF or something of when you were mad that Nate said he wasn't sold on the podcast?
Oh, yeah, it's the guy who's, I think I might have posted that when I was like, I'm gonna amass the confidence to do it, because I was telling myself to go for it, lol. The meme for it is like he's standing on the front of the cover and he's like blushing super hard, and then behind him is like various pictures of the guy he has a crush on, and then on the titles. So like there was like a meme where like people would redraw their favorite ships based on that cover. So you'd get like, I don't know, like Amy Rose um on the front and then various pictures of Sonic in the back. It became like a whole thing for a while. But it's pretty cute. It's basically just him not really knowing how to approach him for like the whole episode, and like trying to find ways to strike up conversations and kind of making himself look like a dumbass in the process. Except the guy he has a crush on is really nice, so like he doesn't really give a shit. And by the end of the first episode, they're like actually kind of striking up a chord, I guess, or a rapport. They're building a rapport, and the first episode ends with them becoming friends. And then presumably eventually they'll become lovers. That was one thing I wanted to point out, not to get too specific. There was a scene that I found really funny in this where like they're in their cooking class and like they have a bunch of like living octopi in the thing and they're like, "Oh wait, but these are too cute. We don't want to kill them." And then it turns out they're like they like left the biology class and went into the cooking class so that like the science teacher comes looking for them and takes them back. But like and it's funny because it has like a whole like vegan-esque thing where like it's like we don't want to kill these animals to eat them. But then when the teacher comes and takes the octopi back to the science class, it cuts to them cooking fish, and I'm pretty sure that was deliberate. There's no there's no way that was an accident. I just found that pretty funny because it's like, oh, that's ironic.
You know what I really am dying for is a manga with boys love that it's not a boys love manga. Like I want just like a battle shonen or something, and then the main love interest is just a guy. I've never seen that.
It's weird because I feel like if you do it with the main character, then they will call it a yaoi still. Like people only ever say it's not like a BL manga if they're like in the supporting cast. Like if it's like the main characters, I feel like they definitionally would be like, oh, this is a Yuri or this is a BL show, and it's like, oh.
Yeah, but like how often does it actually happen that it like that's not the main thing?
Also, what are you talking about? There is a battle shonen where the main guy's love interest is a guy, and it's called Naruto.
Okay, well that's like exactly
Naruto.
If Kishimoto was based, that's what he would have done.
And then there's, I mean, it's not really a battle shonen, but it's kind of similar to battle shonen. Not really. There's also another series that's kind of in that similar space that the main character's main love interest is a guy, and it's called Kingdom Hearts. So there you go. His love interest is Riku. So
are you saying that ironically or actually?
No, I'm saying that ironically. I'm saying it because it's similar to like the plot between Sora and Riku is in many ways almost the exact same plot between Naruto and Sasuke. So and like people like to call Sora gay because there's a scene in Kingdom Hearts 2 where like when he finds Riku, he starts crying. And like people like, oh, Sora cried over Riku, but he didn't cry over Kairi. And it's like, well, he thought Riku was dead, guys. Just pointing that out. So but yeah, that's Nakamura.
That is some toxic masculinity right there.
Yeah.
I mean, that has more to do with the fact that like in most like kind of, I won't say vanilla, but most more innocent coded media, whenever you've got like two boys and a girl team and the main character has a crush on the girl, the show will also do whatever it can to make you think that the two boys are also like in a weird whatever relationship. The same shit happens in fucking every time there's a 3-man cell and there's one girl and two boys, they always try and ship the two boys every single time. they do it. They did it in fucking like again, like we just said in Kingdom Hearts. They did it in Naruto multiple times in Naruto. They did it in Jujutsu Kaisen. Like it's no.
Well, Megami was barely in JJK, so they might have done it if he was in
that's
it more.
That's not the 3-man cell I'm talking about. I'm talking about the one that that Gojo and Geto were in.
Oh yeah, okay, I see that one. Yeah,
exactly.
They just need to have to actually go through with it for once.
Whoever did that first would be the savior of all LGBT manga viewers for the rest of the time. Honestly, the closest they've gotten is Sailor Moon, but that was for the Yuris.
Well, see, they're generally more willing to commit to that one because Yuri is kind of like safe LGBTQ. That's what Yuri is. It's safe LGBTQ.
Girls loving girls is less icky. It's as simple as that. Men are disgusting. Men are nasty. So they don't want to ever even think about like the concept of having one man in a relationship with a woman is bad enough. Thinking of it just being two men with each other, that's horrific.
That just reminds me of the comic of like someone showing some girls into yaoi like actual gay porn and they're just disgusted.
Yeah, because men are icky, but anime man.
Yeah, that's because they like
Anime,
make them like pretty boys. If you want to like make a fujoshi like into
Yeah,
gay porn, you show them like the twink femboy
Not
fucking.
all men can look like Timothy Chalamet. That is just honestly,
Damn.
if they made a movie where Timothy Chalamet and Tom Holland had like a heated rivalry that bordered on homoerotic, they would make so much money. They would make so much money, bro.
Well,
Like those
they
two.
gotta get on that soon because I kind of feel like Chalamet is definitely experiencing his twink death
His
right
twin
now.
death?
Yeah.
No.
No, he actually isn't. He actually isn't. You only think that because of his behavior. He can flip back into.
I actually totally agree.
He can flip back into his twink shit at any point he wants. The only reason you think that is because he's acting more like a man now.
I guess so.
Not even more like a man, more like a bro, if that makes sense.
More like a
Yeah.
bro.
Like he's dropping rap verses on fucking that one Liverpool rapper songs. Honestly, that verse was crazy.
I didn't even know
people
about
can
that.
say people can say what they want about Timothy Chalamet. He snapped that verse in half.
Well, he is White Boy of the Year.
Fair enough.
he is. Unfortunately, that is actually White Boy of the Year. As low as I am to give that distinction to anyone, I would have to give it to Timothy Chalamet. Timmy C.
Timmy C.
Timmy C.
That's his MC name.
Timmy C is he's the only one he's the only white boy to trust right now. Like he's the only one Hollywood can survive on. Maybe if Noah Centineo acquits himself well in the Street Fighter movie, but he's not even really white.
Is that the guy playing Ken?
Yep.
Yeah, he's white adjacent.
Okay. Next is gals can't be kind to otaku.
Oh my god, the tan girl is so fucking hot.
Yeah,
she's so hot.
I haven't even watched this show, and I can already tell you the tan girl is always the hottest one. The tan girl is always
so
objectively
hot.
the most attractive in every show.
The animation in this is so weirdly good.
I mean, so in a lot of seasons, there's a phrase I like to use called.
This is there's like a dress up darling type every season. That's basically that's kind of what this is. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's what I was about to say. So there's this genre that's popping up every season or so. There's like another one of these where they'll have the premise just be like a loser otaku gets a bunch of attention from some really cute girls for some reason. And this is a time-honored genre. Don't get me wrong. This genre has existed for time immemorial. But it's getting a lot of, like, I guess, good examples recently. But the discourse I see around this is like, why is it always like a loser male otaku? Da da da.
Oh yeah, I saw people saying that, and I was like, I'm pretty sure you guys are looking in the wrong space because I'm sure if you looked at like shoujo, you could probably find the reverse.
I can name a million otome series where some frumpy dumpy fucking bitch is the belle of the ball to a whole host and array of different fine male suitors. This is not a gendered fucking thing, dog. Like
it feels like one of those things where people are like upset about the ones that are getting more popular and they can't like handle the fact that like of course the ones aimed towards guys would be more popular because the anime watching audience is probably disproportionately more male. So
I don't. But should that even matter? Should people care? Is it? Is that? Is the existence of that kind of?
Just go on AniList and just look it up. I don't know.
Just go and find whatever you want to watch. Don't watch what Jesus.
That's what I do.
I make
that's why
fun
I had
of
the whole degenerate phase of just watching a bunch of raunchy fan service anime.
I make fun of Attack on Titan every now and then, right? But you don't see me harp on about it every day about how much I fucking hate it and how much I hate everyone who watches it. Like,
Yeah.
as much as those things are true, I'm not gonna make a big deal about how bad Attack on Titan is. It's not.
But
It's
think
not for
of
me.
the engagement.
Yeah,
Yeah,
NineOuh,
exactly.
you gotta make the video being like why everyone is wrong about Attack on Titan, or Attack on Titan is garbage, and here's why. You gotta make the video.
It sucked before season 1 was over. That's
Damn,
as much. That's as much as I
that's
can
saying
say.
a lot because people like really like that season.
I know it sucked before season 1 was over. That's as much as I can say.
I think for me, not to get too much into an AOT conversation, but I started to tune out roughly around the arc where Eren was like captured or some shit with Historia and shit. That's when I started
I
tuning
think it's
out.
a mixed bag. It's got good parts and bad parts.
The whole series is a chore. It is
Damn.
work. It is
Yeah.
work. It is a full-time job, and I mean black company style employment to sit down and watch Attack on Titan. That's how I feel about that shit.
I think it has its
shit is slavery. Shit is slavery.
That's crazy.
But back to Gals Can't Be Kind to Otaku, though. Aside from the fact that, yeah, I mean, it's pretty much
the formula of this first episode was just that there's two gals, and one of them is like making conversation with this otaku who's really into this little girl show. Hashtag relatable.
it's like a Pokemon type
the
joke.
dude isn't even bad looking. He just looks normal.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just like a kind of awkward and extremely enthusiastic about this show. And basically the tan girl like inquires about it, and then the other gal hears it and she like clearly recognizes it and wants to talk about the show.
She's pretty clearly enthusiastic about it,
Yeah.
but she's constantly hiding behind, oh no, it's actually my little sister that likes it. Anytime she like shows too much of her enthusiasm about it. And then you have like the tan girl is just getting into it, and that's like the whole thing is like they're actually being otaku together kind of thing.
So the other girl is just a straight otaku who's hiding her power level.
Yeah, pretty much.
The tan girl is like clearly totally accepting of it and would not have an issue if both of them like came out and just
No,
went
it's not.
mask
It's
off.
not about. It's not about the friendship, Aarlon. It's about the optics of like how you look to all your classmates. You know, you've got a reputation to uphold.
I
know,
do also have to say that is like whenever that kind of anime or anything like that has never fucking resonated with me. I just have to be honest.
Bam.
Like, the idea of people hiding their power levels, adhering to social standards about what they like, I just think all of that shit is so fucking stupid. I'm sorry. not to sound like the too cool for school person in the room, but this is literally how
I don't even get it because it kind of reminds me of like when I see people on Twitter talk about like, oh man, like we got all these posers joining the anime fan base. Meanwhile, back in the day, they used to bully us about. And in my mind, I'm kind of like, what school were you guys going to where you guys were like constantly getting bullied for?
I mean, I can tell you I was that person, Coco. I literally bullied people in middle school for that.
I remember you telling me about that, but I'm just saying that like in my personal experience, I got people into anime, and then they ended up going on to be more enthusiastic about it back then than I was. The only difference between me and them was that like sometimes I would watch more weird shit like Akisora, and they'd be like, "Why the fuck are you watching that?"
And then you were like, "I love lollies. I'm a Digimon fan."
Oh, I mean, yeah, there was that time in college where I had just gotten into Digi and I was being super cringe about it because I was trying to imitate Digi and being way too.
We can call them tricks now, please.
Oh yeah, sorry. I sometimes just do that because I'm
no,
so
I
used
mean,
to
like they were a different person at the time. So referring to them as Digi in the past, they're okay with that. But like, regardless, still, I remember a lot of people who were fans of them. This is the freaky thing about knowing them personally and like observing the fandom like from afar. Like they were never as weird as they pretended to be. I am so sorry to say. They were never as actually.
No,
They were never as actually
no.
freaked
So you're
out
telling me
as
that I embarrassed
Damn.
myself in college for nothing? I was like,
He was
yeah,
a
man.
quite
tourist.
literally.
I was like,
Quite
He's a
literally. I
man,
mean, you can
poser.
kind of,
Security's
you
fucking
can
hot, man.
kind of see, you can kind of get that. You should have been able to get that impression from some of the stuff they used to say, like, and some of the ways they used to react to the way the fandom was. Like, dog, it was never that serious. You didn't have to go around proclaiming the value of lolicon, and it's not even a
I'm
thing
not
that you
gonna
should
lie,
be.
I look back on that as I look back on that part of my life as like really embarrassing, not just because of the fact that I was like, trying to be Trixie, but also the fact that like honestly, like listen, I've seen some hot lolly stuff, but I don't think lollies are that hot. I'm not really that into lollies.
I'm sorry. It is okay to look. Okay,
Unless
here's a
they have
PSA I'm
super
giving.
thick thighs and basically short stacks. Short stacks are my preference, is what I'm getting at.
Here's a PSA I'm giving to all of my folks in the deep otaku sphere who probably hang out with a bunch of fucking weird cunny posters and feel insecure about
Yes.
and feel insecure about liking grown women. Bro, it is okay.
Insecure
is
about liking grown women.
Oh yeah, no. There are spaces in anime fandom where they will make you feel insecure about liking grown women, dog. Like they'll be like, I remember that
GG Cord.
it's become immortalized as a meme now. But I was in that thread where the guy was like, I was like, oh, someone at Gainax has a grown woman fetish. I'm like, what?
Bruh.
Grown woman fetish?
Bruh, that is
So like. Yeah, no. When you are in a realm of pure degeneracy and foolishness, that becomes the norm, and standards become skewed. But please know that there is nothing wrong with not finding the form of preteens and children visually appealing in that way. It's okay to not think that's attractive. Because,
I am on the
like,
exact opposite of that because I actually prefer the mature, slightly curvy,
I want a muscular woman who's older than me to beat me up and then make me feel better about myself. That is literally, call that safe horny, or whatever, all you want. Call that
Lol.
shit safe horny or whatever, all you
If
want.
you
But
like
that
that,
has
then
been.
you should read Reincarnation Coliseum because it has a fair bit of that.
I have been reading Reincarnation Coliseum, but anyway, like
Oh shit.
that is literally like what again? If you call it safe horny if you want, because that's what people have been calling it recently.
That reminds me of the joke in the show where one of the random students gossiping just says, "I want her to dominate me."
Oh yeah. And then they just look at her like what? Look at him like what the fuck? What is? Oh yeah. So another thing I wanted to get into is people were saying that they don't really like the fact that the portrayal of the Gyaru in in anime has been kind of like
They've whitewashed her.
people like it's kind of I've seen it people say the same thing about like the tsundere trope, for example, where like they've significantly toned it down. Like basically it's like, oh, you want to be able to like get with this type of girl but with like none of the baggage. I've seen like similar
Yeah.
conversations about like goth girls.
I mean, they definitely whitewashed the hell out of goth girls.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know. The way I see it, it's okay. So like, the issue becomes we do have to remember that these are idealized forms. Regardless
Yeah.
of how true to life we are trying to make whatever series we're writing, these are still idealized forms. They fall into
Yeah.
tropes, they fall into archetypes, and those archetypes aren't the problem. I think that's the thing people get too
Nah,
wound up in.
I'm with
Yep.
Socrates on this one.
Soccer.
We
Yeah.
art is bad because it distracts us from the true nature of reality. We need to stop watching anime and just think about
And just
Gyarus.
sit in the dirt and think about the leaves.
Yeah.
It all comes down to intent, whether or not you want it to be like a fantastical thing of you, a nerd, being able to befriend the type of person who would typically be too far removed from your own social circle for that to ever happen, or whether you want like something more grounded where you actually deal with like the trials and tribulations of having to navigate that. I'm sure there's some stuff out there where they're like a little bit more realistic about being the loser guy who befriends the popular girl.
That does remind me, that was something. I was feeling a little bit of unease while watching this, and I realized it's because I actually do identify quite a bit with like this main character's situation as someone who went back to school after having been homeschooled and was incredibly socially awkward and did go through the process of like being accepted by mostly pretty nice people and having to like relearn how to be a human being in the real world.
Yeah. Only for you to go back to being a need and abandon it all. Damn.
Yeah, but well, fortunately, at least I retained a little bit more. I do talk like a person and not an alien creature.
What the hell?
There's nothing wrong with being a neat.
Now I'm kind of well. I mean, I'm a need too. Fucking hell.
As long as you can maintain the mask, then you'll be fine.
Yes.
As long as you can continue to pretend, as long as you understand kayfabe, brother, then you will be able to survive.
As long as you're functional when you actually go outside, that's what matters.
Once again, kayfabe, brother.
I'm almost there. I'm like 70% there.
Well, if you think about it, 70% is actually like the baseline. I feel like that's where everyone is at because most of us actually just want to be at home.
Yeah, but then you like go home and you think about the rest of the day and the next day how you like were awkward with the cashier. I just felt like they do sanitize it with all of these shows in this genre because the fact is like I was thinking about how this otaku dude is like pretty self-aware about like the fact that it's like embarrassing that he's an otaku and he's like pretty timid about coming out.
Well, heavens, he has to be. That's kind of like it's the only way they let you be an otaku nowadays.
That's not unrealistic though.
But no, that's fine. But I was just thinking about how like as someone who's lived it, sooner or later, like that guy, if this was real life, is gonna have a moment where because he doesn't know, like he doesn't have any social skills and know how to be a functional human being and talk to people, he's gonna say something incredibly tone deaf or offensive. He's gonna say something like super sexist that makes those gals like really upset with him. And I feel like we're missing out on a pretty crucial part of the experience by not showing that.
Well, he's not autistic.
This isn't. Come on, what's the comparison I would make here? This isn't supposed to be like a Hallmark show about about real relationships. This is a shonen smart anime.
He's talking about social ineptitude and like how yeah.
It's just a part of being that kind of person that it's like hard to imagine cutting it, you know.
I agree, but it's also not something you can really fault them for not really like adhering to.
Yeah. No, I'm sure it's escapism, so I understand them not wanting to put in those unpleasant bits.
And for people who want the unsanitized version of that, go and read or watch fucking Nagatoro Sensei. There's also like another manga that's kind of like that. I forget its name right now, but I'm pretty sure that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, Nagatoro is great.
This isn't Scum's Wish where we show everybody like the deep intricacies of how a relationship can break down.
I feel so embarrassed whenever that manga gets mentioned because I specifically seeked out that manga because of the fact that I was going through my own heartbreak.
Damn.
And I was like, I want to wallow in my own self-pity, so I'm going to read this.
Well, that's kind of what it's for, right?
What I do appreciate is that there's manga like Rent a Girlfriend, which are teaching the youth how pointless the concept of love and relationships are.
Bam.
I love that.
The commodification of love and romance, how it's been commodified, yeah.
No, you cannot turn it around after you start a relationship with someone based on a transactional basis. No, they will never love you. You're a loser. You will always be a loser. It is always going to be.
Giving all of your Twitch primes to. Anyway, moving on. It's time for Yowayowa Sensei.
Yeah, next is Yowayowa Sensei.
And I think I'm the only one who watched this one. So I'm gonna be quick about it. Not much to say about Yowayowa Sensei. It's about a teacher who everyone is kind of creeped out on because she's a bit of a klutz and she's very hard of speaking. She speaks very quietly, so much that people think she's like murmuring. So they always think she's like spewing curses at them. And when she's bumping into people, they think she's being aggressive and assaulting them. And so like the whole dynamic is about the guy helping the teacher sort of become less that. So he's like, oh yeah, she's also like very physically unfit. And most of the gimmicks in the first episode are basically him realizing she has a problem with something, like say for example, her not being able to speak loud. So he gets her a megaphone to use to speak to the class or stuff like that. And then like as you've probably observed on the poster, she has huge fucking knockers. So like every scene, after he helps her with something, somehow, some way, always ends on like a fan service joke. That's pretty much what most of the first episode is. It's basically just that. And you know what? I gotta say, I found it.
They've made one of the. This is another one that they've made one of every season since that one show that got really popular. I think you know which one I'm talking about. Uzaki Sensei or something.
Ozaki-chan, the tomboy one.
Is it? Give me a second. I think so. Is it the tomboy with the massive
the tomboy with the massive tits? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ever since that came out, they've been doing one of these every single fucking season.
There's the other one. I guess it's not necessarily that she's socially inept like the teacher is, but like both of them, both the guy and her are like very low speaking people, and like they find comfort in the fact that they're both kind of socially reserved, almost like stoic types. You know, for someone like me who has a very poor attention span, that was very hard to sit through, because like their presence is so undemanding. But you know what? And I don't even mean this in an insulting way. It is the kind of show that you can sleep to. And you know, I've sometimes I try to find those, and then I end up ironically getting hooked on it, and then I end up staying up all night, and then my sleep schedule gets fucked. Like most recently it was fucking. Well, most recently it was actually gushing over magical girls, but before then it was fucking To Love Ru. I was like, I remember finding the first 8 episodes of this boring as shit, so I guess I'm gonna watch this as a sleeper show. And then I was like, wait a minute, this show is actually good. And then my sleep schedule got fucked. So
this is. I'm looking at the next one. Do you like big girls?
do you like big
this
girls?
is just this is just more hentai that is on my television.
Yeah, so do you like big girls? This is the next show. And this is a manga that kind of like Ingoku Danchi, I also had in my plan to read. Big fucking shocker. I must say though, I was very caught off guard by the fact that this actually has the characters like actually fucking in this. I thought it was gonna be another not hentai. And by the technical definition of it technically not showing genitalia, it technically isn't a hentai. It's, you know, I have a very like whenever it comes to like my whole not hentai spectrum to actual hentai spectrum, I try to stick to be as literal about it as possible. So it's walking a very fine line.
Wait, so they because I'm looking at like a key art for this and they're all butt naked.
Well, okay, so there's a shot in the well, we're getting into the nitty gritty here. There's a shot in the first episode where they do just straight up show the girls, but like they never show the body parts making contact. At least in the version that I saw, because I saw some people saying that there is a more explicit cut, and I was like, what? But like what I saw was labeled uncensored, so like I don't understand. Like that's the reason why it doesn't have the fucking hentai tag, because it technically just barely qualifies as one.
This has to be this has to be a hentai series though.
I mean, it might as
Like,
well be.
I'm looking at the premise. I'm looking at like
Yeah, so the
the
premise of
images.
the premise of the anime is that like it's a guy who, because his
Because I want to show you. I want to show you what the Annie DB image is.
oh my god, is
Like
it just full blown nudity?
you betcha.
Because
Hold on.
the poster they had on Annie List was just the
Yeah, just look at this. There you go.
oh my god. To be fair, this is something you could see even in like DxD or something. So
Yeah, but like that was also a hentai though.
it
That
was.
also that also might as well have been a fucking hentai, straight up. Like I don't mean this as like a negative on the series. I'm just like it's very interesting to me that these exist.
Well,
The
hence the pat phrase. I can't believe it's not hentai.
that is the series that I was planning on making, where I just talk about shows like this, which are like, this is practically hentai, but it's technically not.
What are we doing? Like what are we doing? Like
This is like a new thing, by the way. It's kind of like a show that's made in the similar spirit of something like Ingoku Danchi, where like, yeah, there's just like one show every season now. It'll range from being like either like a not hentai to being like an actual like full blown you can see like the studio that made this is the same studio that made like Adam's Sweet Agony, which is like a full-blown hentai where you can see genitalia making contact, which I found really funny because out of curiosity, I checked the source material, which is a manhwa, and like the manhwa version
Manhwa.
is, yeah, it's a manhwa.
that is likely just fucking straight up sex
Well,
man.
the funny thing about the source material is that, I mean, they are fucking in that, but it's not anywhere near as explicit as the anime. Like they don't show so someone who involved in the directing of that was like, yeah, we're just gonna like make this more explicit because I mean it's porn. Like this is what you're here to see, okay? Like let's not kid ourselves. So the premise of, do you like big girls is basically just the fact that he's the manager of an all girls dorm. And if that sounds familiar, that's because it should, because Love Hina notwithstanding,
That's the premise of many a distance manga.
yes, I do know that artist actually.
Uh
Um,
huh. I expected you to.
uh, there's another anime from like 2 or 3 seasons ago that has the exact same plot called Hands of Sawaranide, and it's also one of these shows where it has like really short episodes and it's basically softcore porn. Only they try to be like cheeky about it by making it like about massaging and stuff, but like they'll sometimes do like really funny things, like when he puts his hand in between her armpit, they just show it in a dark void to make it look like he's fingering her. Stuff like that. Whereas here, I mean, the characters actually just are like full blown like fucking.
What's the one where
That's pretty
she
much.
eats the ice cream? The
What?
really sexual ice
Are you
cream?
talking about To La Rue Darkness?
I don't know. I just remember you posted screenshots of it here. And I
I
was like,
think
wow, you
if it
can't
was
show
in
that.
if it was in Weeb Chat and it was a show that I watched recently, it was probably To Love Rue Darkness, because there is like
Okay.
the. But I think there's also a scene like that in like the Monogatari series or something. I don't know. But if it was me, it was that's kind of like your To Love Rue Darkness is kind of like your standard edgy, to be fair. I mean, there is nudity in that, but I mean, it's not quite as pornographic as some of these shows tend to get. But that's pretty much that's do you like big girls? If you do like big girls, then go and watch it. Eh, Oh, actually, one thing I wanted to say, one thing that I appreciate about this new genre of like short, aside from the fact that like they're not overstaying their welcome, is the fact that like because of the fact that the anime is getting adapted to like these thin line, might as well be hentai but not technically hentai manga, the studios that pick them up generally tend to be ones that are better at animating than your average hentai studio. So that means that like if you're one of the people who's like, oh my God, like hentai is so shittily animated, uh, look for not hentai, and problem solved.
I feel like people have just moved on to either complete CG or reading it
Damn.
by this juncture.
Do people still watch hentai?
Some people.
I mean, when I'm
Oh,
going
that's
through
crazy.
joboru.com, if I see a decently animated clip, I click it. But I'm not actively seeking that shit out. But yeah, that's do you like big girls? That's most of that. Yeah.
Next is Daemons? Demons of the Shadow
Yomi no
Realm.
Tsugai. It's called Yomi no Tsugai. I refuse to refer to Hiromu Arakawa's latest work by its poorly conceived slave name. It is a ridiculous. But one, because translating Tsugai as demons or daemons, I guess they tried to do Daemon. They tried to do Daemon to put some spice on it to make it seem like it was a bit like a bit different than what it was.
I find the fact that they actually say Daemons in the dub very distracting.
Yeah, no, it sucks. That's why sometimes you just have to not touch the dub or certain stuff.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just have to not touch the dub.
So yeah, this was brought to us by the creator of Full Metal Alchemist, which embarrassingly I have not seen. So
What?
yeah, I haven't
Record
seen that.
scratch. Why have you not seen From an Alchemist? That's necessary viewing for this profession.
I've been too busy watching not hentai.
You need to get out of this hole, man.
Well, actually, I have been out of it for a while now. My most recently watched anime was actually Fate Zero. So
okay, good. Start
That's
watching.
Like a minor step up.
Start watching respectable stuff. I don't know. Watch like Mahotsukai no Yoru or something.
I've seen Ava. Lol.
And then she made me see Ava.
Ava's cool. Evangelion's a good series. Some people aren't smart enough to. Some people don't deserve to watch it until they get smart enough, though. Because
well, I was debatably one of those people because when I first watched End of Evangelion, I fucking hated it. But the second time I watched it, I was like,
hating Ava when you first watch it, like coming out of Evangelion hating it, makes perfect sense. Coming out of Evangelion liking it also makes perfect sense. Coming out of Evangelion with a pathological desire to nitpick and figure out every inch of its philosophical framework, you're a dickhead. I'm sorry. That's like that's the part where I'm at, like where I'm just like fuck off, because the show isn't half. It's not half baked enough to have loose interpretations of what's going on. It's very distilled and direct as to what the idea, and the issue is not many people in the West have figured that out. It's regardless. But yeah, get out of this hole of watching nothing but not hentai, please. So yeah, Yomi no Tsugai. So these are the last 3 shows that I have seen, right? And I can speak up quite a bit about. Yomi no Tsugai is really interesting because this is one where I read the first chapter years ago when it first dropped, and I said to myself,
I don't even know it's that old.
If there is any justice in otaku culture, this will get an anime, and I would rather watch that.
Your prayers have been answered.
Yeah, if there's any justice in otaku culture, that we will get an anime for this, and I would rather watch that because I didn't want to. I don't know. I didn't want to get too much of a. One thing I don't like about Arakawa is her visual pacing, because she makes it very difficult to follow certain things that are going on, and she has a lot of things that are going on, like a lot all the time, and I prefer manga that's a little bit more that flows a little bit better, even though she is one of the best She is one of the best.
You must really hate current One Piece then.
I don't read One Piece.
Fair enough.
I've never read One Piece. Oda is the worst at what I'm describing.
Ever? Go and read East Blue.
I read the compiled chapters that have Trafalgar Law and Zoro in them, where all the chapters where they do cool stuff. Those are the ones I've read. Anyway,
Interesting.
What's it called? So Arakawa, she's a master of the form, don't get me wrong. It's just she likes to have a lot of stuff going on in the manga, and I would rather have that stuff translated into animation to get the full breadth of it. Because especially the fact that they got Studio Bones on the job. Like Bones is in a space right now. They're doing Marriagetoxin, they're doing Yomi no Tsugai, and they're doing like what's that one show called? They're doing Vigilantes, the My Hero spinoff.
Oh, yeah.
So Bones is like they're eating for a while now. They've got 3 shows that are gonna solidify them. Like folks were thinking, what's gonna happen to Bones now that My Hero's ending? Like they're gonna do Vigilantes and then what? Nope. Now they've got 2 new amazing manga that they're drawing. So Bones is out of the dark age of only being the My Hero studio. We thank goodness. That
was looking a little rough for a while there too.
That was a problem. We lost one of the best studios to one of the most mid manga. We lost one of the best studios to one of the most mid manga in the history of Shonen Jump. It's sad. We've still lost one of the best studios to a slightly above mid manga, which is Kimetsu no Yaiba.
You're talking about UFO Table? You've lost UFO Table to Kimetsu no Yaiba and Type Moon, I guess, because they're doing Mihoyo as well as Fate now.
Yeah, no, that we're never seeing an original from them. We're never seeing an original from UFO. We are never seeing another kind of shonen adaptation until they completely finish Demon Slayer. Like, until Demon Slayer is fully done. Also, that's another slave. Can I say that's another slave name that gets on my craw? Demon Slayer. Like it rolls off the tongue, sure.
Yeah,
it rolls off the tongue, sure. But like it's so generic. How do Kimetsu no Yaiba, Blade of the Bloody Fang, or like what? How are we?
It's kind of like how people actually have a soft spot for calling it Samurai X, instead of Rurouni Kenshin.
Yeah, no. Samurai X is a great slave name. That had pizzazz. That was like, oh, Samurai X. What's that show? Exactly. That show was that show had something. That there was something there. That like same as how. What's another one same as how Fullmetal Alchemist had something. Once again, I can't just go around saying Hagane no Retsushosha every fucking time I want to say that show's name. And I don't know what the Japanese abbreviation is. So, it's Hagaren. Hagaren is the Japanese abbreviation of Fullmetal Alchemist. But if I say Hagaren, no one's gonna know what the fuck I'm talking about. They're gonna look at me like I'm a dickhead because the English title the English title really did do its job. I can still say Shingeki no Kyojin and people know what I'm talking about. I'll still say Rurouni Kenshin and people know what I'm talking about. But Samurai X still sounds good. But yeah, on the topic of Daemons of the Shadow Realm, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. It's such a bad title. It's such a horrible fucking title, bro. Like, this is when sometimes I miss when they used to just like wing it with the titles, bro. Like Robotech instead of Super Dimension Back. Like, Robotech. Like, you say what you will about
Card Cap. Didn't they come up with like an original name for Card Captor Sakura?
No, that was the Japanese name.
I'm trying to remember, I guess they did. There was some magical girl show that I'm thinking. I can't remember the name. It's on.
No, in English they called it Card Captors. They just called it Card Captors.
We gotta go back to the Wild West era where they could just do whatever they wanted, localizing shit.
So you want to go back to the 4Kids era where they just make an original. They make an original score. They borderline rewrite some of the story, but like they keep the vaguest idea of the original.
They knew what was up.
You want to go back to gag? You want to go back to basically licensed gag dubbing?
I mean, look at Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon.
We want to go to the
They-
Saban days. I mean, for what it's worth, I actually do have a soft spot for the 4 Kids dub of One Piece. I've watched
Culturally
all of
iconic.
East Blue.
Honestly, I watched this thing on YouTube called Tsunami Rewind. I'm not gonna like say the channel so it doesn't get sniped or anything, but basically you can watch a bunch of like they basically just line up a bunch of old Tsunami shows and play them out as if your TV is Tsunami.
Yeah,
That's neat.
And I've been watching a lot of the old Yu Yu Hakusho through that, and I won't lie to you, man. That dub was golden. That dub
I was
was
talking to because I've been watching it for the first time recently. I kind of have it on hold now, but I was watching it dubbed because Aarlon was telling me that the dub for that is pretty good, and I was watching it and it's like, okay, I do like this show's dub, but I'm like 99% sure that if the dub for this came out today, people would shit on it because they changed so much. They changed so much. It's crazy.
Yeah, almost every fucking line has changed. It's almost a different show in Japanese. But
Yeah.
okay, but here's the thing. Here's what I will say. The dub is able to capture what the show is trying to be for an English audience.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying, man. That's what you can get when you just go crazy with the localization.
The dub captures what the show was trying to be, but like transposed into the social mores of an English audience. Because like instead of you having like you have people shit on Kuwabara's voice in the dub, but in the sub
they do. I thought people like that voice.
but like in the sub, he's like more stoic than Yusuke. The point about Yusuke isn't that he was this brash kid. It's that he was playing at being a brash kid while actually having a heart of gold. In English, that sounds different than it would in Japanese, right?
Yeah.
And in English, that ends up having the screechy kind of like angry tone that he takes on.
Actually, one thing that really caught me off guard when I briefly switched to the sub audio was the fact that Yosuke is voiced by a chick in that. I was like, what?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was a common thing in 90s anime. Like Goku had that shit happening too. Fucking Edward Elric is also voiced by a girl.
They do that a lot. Like for example, like Shinji's voiced by
a woman.
Yeah. I was just really caught because he's voiced by a dude in the dub. So when I switched to it was like, whoa, okay.
Laurent say hack from the seminal work. Laurent say hack from the seminal work. Turn A Gundam was voiced by legendary Korean voice actress who happens to work in Japan, Romi Paku.
I'm definitely one of the people who is like, listen, respect to NineOuh because she's the original voice, but I'm not gonna pretend I like that shit, man. I'm not gonna pretend, especially when she's voicing Bardock. What the fuck? But also Daemons of the Shadow Realm. I forgot that's what we're talking about.
Horrible fucking title. Sorry, I keep getting sidetracked by how bad they made the title. But the premise of the show is great. The idea that like the idyllic little happy village that the characters are in turns out to also kind of be villainous.
Well, I've only seen the first episode. I was definitely caught a little off guard when there was suddenly modern planes and helicopters visible all of a sudden. I was like, what the hell?
in the anime, they make it so okay. In the manga, it's way more of a shock because in the anime, they have this bit at the beginning where there's a plane flying ahead and they call it a dragon. That isn't in the manga. Or it's not really, they don't really pay too much attention to it in the manga. Like in the anime, it's kind of clear that like, oh, there's a plane in the sky. Or at least if you've already read the manga,
I mean, when he said dragon, I kind of just like took their word at it.
Yeah, you're just gonna take their word on it.
I didn't see you don't see the plane; you just see the trail left behind. So I was like, oh, exactly. It could be a dragon.
So, yeah, it could be a dragon. Like, exactly. That's the point. That's the point. But it's the noise it made. It's also the noise it made. So the noise it made, and it's also like, they play with it very well for a good while, and they wait until you're lulled into this sense of, okay, this is the status quo. It's a ancient city. We're in olden times, and then they just have a bunch of fucking
Then suddenly there's like a fucking military squad just
a
invading the
bunch of
fucking.
Gigguk operators coming in and just pushing everybody's shit in. Yeah, that's amazing stuff. And then you have this little Red Riding Hood girl using bombs from
And
Mario.
at first you
You-
think she's a fucking telekinetic or something, and then it turns out, oh, it's just that like people untrained can't see demons.
She's literally
And she
using
has
like a
fucking dentures.
yeah, no, not even Denzel, like a Trumper from Mario. Like
Yeah.
it's
Only instead
like
of
that.
2 eyes, it has like a bajillion. I think they're like
Yeah,
2 demons, as because she refers to them as 2. It's like 2 demons put together. One is the lower half of the mouth, and one is the upper half.
real disgusting stuff. Telling Hiromu Arakawa to draw a series where people use real powers instead of just like classical magic transposed through science.
Hmm.
She's doing weird stuff with it, and it's interesting.
Yeah.
Because I mean, that is what Fullmetal Alchemist was. It was just classical magic transposed through science, and like it was a great series. But now we're seeing the main characters have abilities that are kind of similar to what some of the villains were doing in Fullmetal Alchemist.
Like, can they like summon demons too in that?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess it was like a carryover of the idea. I
Well,
can
no,
make
well,
this.
no. The demon, no, they can't summon demons in Fullmetal
Oh,
Alchemist. There's some of the sins can summon things.
Homunculi.
Some of the homunculi can summon like it's a whole thing. You need to read from Alchemist. It's great series.
did you just say I need to read Full Metal Alchemist? Lol.
Or watch it. Or watch it.
She wants to
Just make
watch
sure.
the original.
I'm sure you do. I'm sure you seem like that kind of hipster.
I've seen some people on Twitter say that the first
It is
couple of
not the
arcs.
same series. It is not the same series, and no, the first couple of arcs are not done better in the original. They are done different. They are done differently. They're done well, but they're done differently. And if you just want to watch
I
Full
agree.
Alchemist, watch
And I was
Brotherhood.
intending on watching both anyway. There's no way I would have just
Yeah,
watched. The only series where I intend to watch only the original. I mean, I've read the manga, but is Hunter x Hunter. I have no
I would
interest in
say.
watching the remake of Hunter x Hunter. Just the
I would say,
original.
funny enough, like watching the original Full Alchemist after you finish Brotherhood is a better experience. Like
Interesting.
watching it after you finish Brotherhood is kind of a better experience because you get to that way you're reliving certain things and the direction is done differently. And
Hmm.
you're spending a lot more time in the part of the show that was kind of more comfy, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. Because Brotherhood has to rush through a lot of that stuff to get to the rest of the show that the original wasn't able to adapt.
Yeah, that's what I see people talking about when they talk about how the earlier stuff.
I felt really like when I was like a 16-year-old watching that shit, I was really mad that they cut. I was like, what? They cut all the like early stuff? They're just skipping over all this?
Because they had technically already done that stuff.
Yeah. But I just felt cheated.
And there's some weird and wacky stuff going on in the first episode of this. Like apparently there's like I'm guessing this is something that will be explored almost immediately at the next episode, but I was kind of confused at the fact that there are 2 versions of the main character's sister. I was like, what's that about?
Yeah, that's what I meant by the village is up to something, right?
Yeah.
Because if it's very clear that like the real one is the one that came and invaded.
They were separated at birth, it seems, because the episode starts with a flashback of when they were born. And like
They actually revealed a slight spoiler in the new episode that came out, I think yesterday. They revealed that the sister was his parents ran away with the sister.
okay.
But like yeah, so we don't know what.
Well, they just abandoned this on. Okay.
Yeah, more or less. We don't know what happened to the
I
parents,
guess
but
he
yeah.
has like the power to like he has the power to like summon demons uh by way of they come out of the statues, I guess.
The statues were where they were sealed, but they
Yeah.
are his sworn Tsugai, right?
Yeah.
They're his like demons. but they
Yeah,
were sealed in the statue for until they had a new owner, which was him.
I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued.
I don't know. It's an intriguing show. Like they, especially now that they're like especially if they're leaning into the fish out of water take, where you got like this kid who grew up in the literal
Oh yeah,
ancient
he
14th
like grew
century
up in like a
mountain.
rural. He grew up in a more rural area, and he might be going into like modern, like into the
He the
city.
in the new episode, that's like literally what they get into finally. Like, yeah, they're in the city now, and they have to come up with a whole, story as to why they're there. And
That's kind of an interesting subversion because like you're going into this expecting it to be like a kind of old-timey thing, and it's like, nope, we actually are going into the city. It's like Yaibo, Dragon Ball in that way.
like in a way, you've got like this is in certain ways, this is Hiromu Arakawa's like take on the urban fantasy genre, which you would you would think that Fullmetal Alchemist was already an urban fantasy, but like it kind of is, but it's not a modern urban fantasy. That was kind of like a period piece urban fantasy,
Hmm.
or like even just a straight fantasy that had elements of certain middle period history type shit. But this is just her doing straight Shindenki urban fantasy. We're in the city doing magical shit. So
Yeah, it sounds interesting.
speaking of also urban fantasy and the shit city doing magical shit, the next show, Agents of the Four Seasons, it's probably next to Nippon Sangoku. Is probably this is the best show of the season I'm watching right now. It's very wholesome, but it's also very action packed. It's about and this is honestly, I'm surprised they haven't made. I'm surprised this isn't its own genre, but it's about these four people who have been bestowed the power to change the seasons by, I think, by the seasons themselves. And these are all agents, essentially. The agents they're bestowed with superpowers that allow them to change the seasons, and the powers function to change the season, but they also have like smaller functions, like the girl the girl who's spring, she can make it spring, but she can also control like plant life. The guy who's winter, he can make it winter, but he can also like suspend the flow of time and like summon ice and stuff. And the girl who's summer, she can talk to animals and like see through their eyes and like control, basically like summon like ghostly wolves and shit, control the animal's physiology to make them more powerful and whatnot. So each of them has like a different ability that controls life. I don't know we haven't seen what autumn looks like yet because show hasn't gotten that far and I haven't read the manga, but it's really kind of settled on the relationships between the agents and their attendants. Like all of the every agent has like like a person who protects them, like a guard, and that the guards are where most of the action comes from in the show because they're the ones who like wield katanas and like fight the various forces and factions trying to harm the agents. Also, there are forces and factions trying to harm the agents. People don't like that human beings have been bestowed with the power of the seasons, and other people just want to be able to steal the seasons for
Oh,
themselves.
I thought that was specifically trying to like just murk them so that the season stopped changing. Because if that's how that worked, I'd be like, okay, well, I think I kind of
They can't. That's not how that works. You can't murk one and then the season stop changing. What you can do is kidnap one. You can that's kind of the premise of the show. Spring was kidnapped for a time, and they just got her back.
I just like the idea of being able to like murk one of them so that like you no longer have to deal with your favorite season anymore.
If you murk one of them, it's like Avatar.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna
Oh,
say. Is it sounds
damn.
just like Avatar.
Like if you murk one of them, it's like Avatar. The next one just gets born. So,
Yeah.
like the best way to stop a season from changing is to kidnap one of them, lock them in a room. Don't let them do their little dance. Oh, they have to do to change the season. They have to do like a dance and a song. It's really cute.
Yeah, we should do that so that we just get not summer. Summer's too hot and winter's too cold. Whichever is the
Autumn.
most whichever is the most neutral one, that's what we should do.
Well, that'd be spring. But I love autumn.
Yeah, no, let's do Spring.
Honestly, they made the Agent of Spring like a fucking like Jesus in this show. She's she's such a miracle of the universe. She's so sweet and kind and compassionate.
He the orange-haired one?
Yes, Hinagiku. And she talks funny.
That is a pretty cute design.
She talks funny as well. She speaks in very slow, breathy, broken sentences, which is, as I'm sure you know, the most moe thing they could be doing.
That does sound pretty cute.
Sounds interesting. I'd be intrigued to watch.
Oh, and the Agent of Summer is the twin sister of her god, so that gets interesting in its own way.
I can weaponize that and just be like, yeah, you have kidnapped Summer, but you actually haven't, lol.
If you like off the beaten path premises for fantasy action shows, this is probably one of the most refreshing ones in a while. So it doesn't shy away from trying to actually have an emotional core and some kind of romance happen, and not just like shonen romance either.
Like an actual, like none of the will they, none of the misunderstandings, none of the.
Oh no! All of the emotional problems are very well founded.
That's good to hear, because there's a certain manga that used to be heavily praised for its atypical approach to romance that's apparently developed a pretty typical approach to romance as of recently. Yes.
I'll say to you the same thing I said on Twitter. They gave you people a magnificent on-ramp, but you guys, such a great on-ramp that you guys forgot that you were reading a simple romance manga.
Yeah.
They gave you guys such a magnificent on-ramp that you guys forgot you were reading a romance manga. And you know what? I don't blame you. But now that you're here, you're stuck. And welcome to the ride.
Well, you know what? As long as it's still good. I mean, I like rom-coms, so.
Well, yeah, the thing about Agents of the Four Seasons, all of the romantic engagements are stifled by real problems. It's not some like, okay, so like you've got Winter who is afraid to meet Spring because he feels like he's part of the reason she was kidnapped. You've got the god of Winter who's in love with the god of Spring, but she doesn't fuck with him because the agency of Winter stopped looking for the agent of Spring, and the agency of Spring they kicked her out immediately after Hinagiku got kidnapped. So he's got feelings for this one, but she's not vibing with him right now because like she feels like he didn't do enough to try and help. It's real problems. It's real emotional relationship issues, and it's not some bullshit. That's as much as I can ask for in a romance series. Give me real human struggles and let people struggle through them to find some love.
Or you could just introduce a love triangle. That's much easier.
Please.
Next is Nippon Sangoku,
aka
Japan's future, televised for our enjoyment.
I was actually kind of confused on what the lore of this was, because at first it sounded like they were describing post World War II or something, and I was like,
no, basically everything went to shit.
No. So this show is about the future. This show is about beyond the future from now. So what happens is Japan crumbles. There's a bunch of
it gets dissolved into multiple states.
There was a nuclear war at some point.
There was a nuclear confrontation, and technology gets regressed back to that of the Meiji period.
I missed that part. I guess that makes sense because they were like.
I mean, did you see how they were living?
Yeah.
Like technology has regressed back to that of the Meiji period. That's why everyone's using swords and still using muskets. And there's 3 different countries.
It's hard to imagine that happening.
Like a period piece, but they're still wearing modern clothes.
Like even if you lose like the really high tech stuff, surely like people can still remember how to make a gun.
You're questioning how far back we would be set is like the suspension of disbelief. Is how far back could we possibly?
I feel like I feel like Meiji era, because remember, our technology doesn't just have to do with know-how, it has to do with resources. So if international supply lines get completely fucked to the point that like it's not even feasible to try and make the same stuff that we used to, we will regret. Human beings are the kind where we will live with a problem easier than we will fix it. So if folks are able to make a meager standard of living work on a late 1800 standard of like technology,
what matters is people being comfortable.
If people are able to like stay.
Dr. Stone. What about Dr. Stone?
But if people think of it this way, if after multiple major wars, multiple famines, nuclear fallout, and Holocaust, if after all of that, humanity was able to claw itself back to the late 1800s, folks would be okay with it, and they wouldn't really question the technology that they had in the centuries prior. They just look at it like history.
Did you know that back in the day, you used to have a phone that you could like control by like touching the screen? Isn't that crazy? I'm trying to imagine like a conversation like that happening in this story.
They call it the old Japan era in the show.
Yeah.
I think realistically, like probably how it would actually happen is it would be very uneven. That there would be some stuff that's like the technology that's easier to make in those conditions still, that they still have, but then other stuff would be regressed.
And I feel like that's represented in the show. That is represented in the show. Like certain kinds of clothing are very modern.
Yeah. They still have modern clothing.
Wedging dress.
The wedging dress.
Wedging dress. like certain kinds of clothing are very modern. You've got like certain firearms are more modern than the 1800s. Like there's Lugers, so they do have those. I feel like it. I do think though that like the technology being regressed to the Meiji era makes the most sense, because that is where a society can reach without international trade, without like the same level of globalized trade we have now. Maybe like with if you're trading with ships and whatnot, we can reach the 1800s. I wonder what piracy looks like in this new world, because it definitely came back. It absolutely came back.
Which definition of piracy are we talking about?
Piracy, as in high seas, as in sailing with your mates and raiding some fucking ships.
It would be back if they're trading by that. I mean, we still have pirates right now.
Yeah, no, piracy is gonna make a big comeback in the after times when the nukes go off.
I love the idea of like in this time period, piracy comes back. So like someone is like, man, I read this manga from like the old Japan era called One Piece. Wouldn't it be crazy if I just like trolled all these people and said, guys, I left this treasure out there.
Oh my gosh. No, but that is going to happen. There is treasure. No, I'm telling you, pirates are gonna come back when folks are gonna realize that like living on land is unsustainable and that it's best to just eke out a meager living for yourself raiding ships. And there's gonna be memes. There's gonna be pirate caverns where like they pass around stories, and there's gonna be the same nonsense happened in the era of the actual like Blackbeard age. They used to just make up fucking random treasure chests that didn't exist and say that in the middle of this part of the ocean, this is where I hid my shit. And then like pirates would get there and there would be nothing and their whole crew would die. So like,
and then you get like epically trolled.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, I guess we could briefly touch upon the characters and the plot of this, because
I mean that was pretty wild.
I didn't want to spoil too much, but like, yeah, you've got this like over talkative busybody dude
who's actually a war genius.
Yeah, who actually becomes a war genius.
He's like, a cucked war genius.
A cuck? Like, he's not a cuck. He's someone who...
He's not a cuck. His wife was murdered.
He didn't want to...
You're not a cuckold if your wife gets killed, dog. Like,
he doesn't want to rock the boat, though. He refuses to rebel against the government and stuff. Because...
And that is what kills his wife. True.
Yes.
But at the same time, there isn't like I do love the way they like go through characters' mental states. Because the way in the first episode they had him truly just like play through the whole idea of I'll take the guy's sword.
That was crazy. That was crazy. You played the whole thing out in his head, and then he was like, "Nah, I die. I can do this even better."
Yeah, he played the whole thing out. I was like, "Nah, we have to keep a calm head, keep it cool."
I actually find it I find it funny that he was like, I have no combat experience, but like apparently he's read so much on the art of war that like he's able to like perfectly envision the way he could like kill all the people there, even though they have him cornered and he's outnumbered. It's like, oh, that's interesting. I really like the way the episode ends. Spoilers, quick spoiler warning here, I guess. I just really liked the way that he outsmarted, or not really outsmarted, but the way he got the guy killed at the end of the episode was like, oh, he wasn't referring to the.
No, because he did some lawyer shit.
Yeah,
he did some real fucking Law and Order SVU type shit. He was like, he was like, She didn't say who she called a fatso. He just decided that you were the fatso.
You were the fatso. And then he actually kills him for that. He's like,
Is that so? Is that so? And he really does kill him. Dude, that dude is insane. I read ahead in the manga.
And it's totally unsurprising that he would, because we already saw him murder some random guy because he dropped a box of potatoes.
No, and also, mind you, they asked them to bow, and his first instinct when he bowed was he forgot to drop the fucking basket. So when he bowed, the baskets fell. The potatoes fell out the basket. So he literally fell because of the command he gave.
The whole game was rigged from the start.
That's a dynamic that like it happened so fast, people wouldn't really think about it too much. But if you really deep that part, it's really fucked up. Because he gets out the carriage, they all say, "Everyone bow." First thing, you're just like, okay, I just happen to be holding a basket and I'm bowing, and then now I drop the basket. Oh no, I'm dead,
man. And if he was like, "Oh, I gotta put down this box of potatoes first," that they would have killed him for that too.
They'd be like, "Oh, you didn't bow. You didn't bow."
Yeah, you didn't bow quick enough. It would have been. It would have been on some. You didn't bow quick enough. Are you disrespecting your lord? Oh,
so there was no way. There was no way for that guy to win. It was over from the start.
There was literally no way. He was doomed from the start. That's how fucked up I was thinking. He was doomed from the start, bro. Like, honestly, that's the vibe that I'm happy that they were able to nail. Like the doomed from the start vibe, because that's the vibe that you have for the main character as well. Like, there's nothing this guy could possibly do. There's nothing this guy could possibly be to change his station and become something different. But no, watch him do just that.
So his goal, by the way, I believe, is to change or to save. Japan.
To reunify Japan. That's his goal.
So I guess he's gonna team up with the faction his wife was saying he should join before.
No, she was saying he should serve under one of the generals of Yamato.
Wait, so is that the evil fat guy?
No. That's have you seen the second episode, the Toriyumon?
No.
Okay, so in the second episode, he goes and does this test for this one general, and that's who she recommended he go like work for. And that general he's like one of the military advisors to the fat guy, but he's also in a position where he can like possibly seize more power.
So it's like from within, he's trying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So he becomes like a war minister underneath that guy.
Interesting.
They say this at the end of the second episode. No one knows about the intricate points of history that decide what really happens. Like, there wasn't the stuff that no one could have foreseen. Oda Nobunaga being betrayed, and then his Toyotomi Hideyoshi taking over from him, and no one could have foreseen.
I think you mean she. Okay, I think you mean she.
Wow. And no one could have foreseen what's it called? No one could have foreseen the Boshin War and how that turned out. Like the fall of the shogunate in the 1800s and whatnot. How the Meiji Restoration happened. No one could have foreseen all that. And he basically proclaims, we're gonna create like an era like that. like me and you. He's talking to. You've seen him in the trailers. He shows up in the second episode. The guy with the bowl cut and the katana. Yeah, that guy. He's the son of a famous samurai family, I guess, and he becomes the main character's, like, I would say, best friend, more or less. Like, that becomes his guy because he needs a guy who's a bit more military minded than he is. So.
And also, can we just briefly touch upon the animation? Because the animation in this is really good.
Very interesting. Super different.
Amazing show by Studio Kafka. Studio Kafka, they're the guys behind, if you know about the new Mononoke movies. Not Princess Mononoke, like the Mononoke with the blue guy.
Blue guy?
Y'all aren't familiar?
I am unfamiliar, but I see it on the anime list.
Yeah, it's a series that came out in like the mid 2000s, I think, or late 2000s, and it got a few sequels in the forms of movies done by the same studio that's doing this, and they've really shown themselves to be good at, like, I don't know, just, I would say, out there shit, avant-garde type beat, knowing how to just like play with color and the frame.
Yeah, you definitely see that in this one.
Yeah,
it actually kind of reminded me, like the washed out colors kind of reminded me a little bit of how the Uzumaki anime looked. I actually thought the whole anime was gonna look like this, and then at the end it became like full color, and I was like, oh, I guess not.
No, there's moments where it does look like that, and there's moments where it goes back to full color.
Ah, okay.
I do like that the premise of Nippon Sangoku, which is to unite the split up Japan, because that's essentially like they're really trying to, do like a retelling of the what's it called, the Romance of the Three Kingdoms, but like in a Japanese context in the future. It's really fun.
The hell? Why is this rated so low on Mal? I had to scroll so far to find this.
Well, Mononoke?
No. Nippon Sangoku.
Oh, it's probably because it's new. It's got like 3 episodes out, so.
Well, just like I'm on the seasonal list, and it's like halfway down.
Maybe there's a lot of people not watching it.
And also, you have to understand, like Mal's full of fucking children. This is not a children's show. And I don't mean that like in a mean way. I don't mean that to denigrate.
No, there's literal children. There's literal children on Mal.
Yeah, so like it's not. This is not a children's show. There's not much like a 14-year-old would be excited to watch about Nippon Sangoku, unless they were the most annoying kind of 14-year-old.
Oh, they did that show with the skull monster guy.
We really gotta get, the amazing 9-year-olds input on this. That's what we need.
Oh, and they did the Fujimoto show. That show looked great.
They did an episode on it.
Oh, because that was like a rotation thing. I forgot. Sorry.
Yeah, it's an anthology series.
Yeah.
General impressions of the whole season?
I was pretty impressed. I feel like, at least in terms of stuff we watched, this was the best season we've seen in quite some time, because it's been a while since.
I agree, because the last couple of seasons, holy,
it's like, it's not always bad, but it's been a while since there's been a season where I like saw a lot of shows that I actually wanted to watch more of. I was really feeling down about the fact that I couldn't just keep watching these.
Well, typically it's like there's shows that you're like vaguely interested in, and then this season was like a season where it's like, actually I'm actually pretty interested.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like, oh, I kind of want to watch more of this. It's like, release the next episode now because I want to watch it.
See, Aarlon, that's the masterful reason why I delay the podcast, so that by the time we come in, we have like 5 episodes worth of materials.
But that's a problem, because then I watch 5 episodes and it's no longer a first impressions podcast.
Damn.
And then we talk about it for 30 minutes.
I typically try to watch at least 3 episodes because I feel like you get a much better feel for it using the. I know that it's been criticized to hell and back, but the 3-episode test, I'm very fond of that one.
Listen. Bun a 3-episode test. Listen to the only test that matters. No, I'm about to put you lot on game right now. Go onto any streaming service of your choice.
Mm-hmm.
Find a show that looks fairly decent. Has to have at least 3 to 4 episodes out, because this test doesn't work otherwise. If you go there and the thumbnails, all of the thumbnails look like the same static image or the same static like background and whatnot, you can toss the show aside. If you go there and every thumbnail is framed differently, like a different shot of a different part of the show, like it was actually designed and like shot properly, then you can actually like look at the show and be like, okay, maybe this is. I'm telling you, go do this with every anime you like.
Visuals do go pretty far. I mean, that's what thumbnails are for. First
I
impression.
don't necessarily mean this is just like. I mean this like you can tell a lot about how seriously they take an anime based entirely on not just 1 or 2 thumbnails, but like a collection of them. Like it's helped me suss out a lot of interesting shows that I wouldn't have watched otherwise.
So you're saying the ones where they put care into, those are the ones they're trying to sell you on harder?
Not even that. Like I'm just. It's even harder to explain than that. Like go to like a random isekai show. I'm a dude. The strangest job is apparently not a hero or whatever, right? All of these thumbnails look static and trash. All of them look like if there's a lot of shots where characters are just on the same plane and it's a flat background, then it's like, yeah, okay. And if most of the episodes are like that, then it's like, yeah, I know what I'm in for.
You don't want to see riveting content such as the hero randomly stumbling upon the princess getting attacked by bandits?
Exactly. But then if you go to something like Dorohedoro, every fucking thumbnail in Dorohedoro, it feels like a different, like it feels like an actual shot of a show, if that makes sense.
But what if I actually just really like slop?
And Aarlon really does enjoy a fair bit of that. No, I'm kidding.
Fire Force is hilarious because, like, in the first season, most of the episodes, the thumbnails are just people's heads. But in the second season and beyond, you start seeing the actual, like, direction of the show take hold. And yeah, no, it's so interesting when you use the thumbnail test. It beats the 3-episode test. It even beats.
It sounds less time consuming at least. Because the 3-episode test is you basically sinking an hour into watching a show.
Yeah, you can see how seriously a show is trying to take itself based on its thumbnails.
Well, I actually appreciate that. I will genuinely use that in the future.
That kind of reminds me of like the poster test though, and that one definitely led me very bad places. The poster test.
Don't do posters. When I say thumbnails, I say this because especially on Crunchyroll or even on most streaming services, they have to use still images from the episode. That's why. And a lot of the time, they don't get to choose what still image is used from the episode. So it's just a random image.
I actually forgot that there is no free version of Crunchyroll anymore. I forgot that was the case. I can't even go on the website. I literally can't.
That reminds me of how like early YouTube, it was like exactly halfway through your video or whatever that they sampled the thumbnail, so people would like intentionally time it so they had a good thumbnail at exactly halfway.
I mean, yeah, that's exactly what the newest
This is some old shit that you're talking about, man.
That's how thumbnails are on Crunchyroll now. Oh, another show has anyone seen Kill Blue?
Nope.
No, I have not.
It's about an assassin. There's another new one that came out this season. It's about an assassin that gets infected by this like drug or whatever that turns him into a high schooler.
Interesting.
He's like a middle-aged assassin, and he gets turned into a high schooler.
Now, I don't think that's typically what people have in mind when they hear the term regression. Is it, Aarlon?
Well, I mean, that is
technically a regression.
They're all kind of doing the same thing, though. It's all kind of the same, like, isekai type, like, oh, everyone's underestimating me because they think I'm like a dumb high schooler, but I'm actually an adult man.
Oh yeah, they definitely do that because he goes to school and he gets treated like a fucking freak nerd otaku. Because he goes into the class. They're like, "My name is etc. etc." and tries to sit down. And everyone's like, "Oh, he's gloomy." And then he goes back up. It's like, "Oh, you know what? I should say more about myself. I'm from here. I do this. Oh, my special skills." Sniping, and everybody looks at him like he's fucking crazy. Even worse. And he's like, "Oh, I mean like airsoft." And then everyone's like, yeah, well, this is a little bit better, but still, he's definitely one of those otaku freaks. So, like, his first impression, everybody already gets the idea that he's a weird guy.
But then later, he's gonna get to look cool when he gets to snipe people.
Yeah, exactly. You already know how this always goes. It's great. It's always great. It's great every time.
I was actually going through Netflix to try and do this test, and then I realized I don't remember the names of any particularly generic shows to find a generic show, a generic anime on here.
Well, then just keep doing it with shows that like look decent.
Yeah.
And you'll even see, even in the shows that are marketed well and look kind of decent, they are definitely still someone can definitely still fall victim to being. You can learn that they're not properly like as well made as they present themselves to be based on the thumbnail test.
Man, I hate when that happens though. When something like is eye catching and then you like actually like sit down and
That's why I developed the thumbnail test. That's that specifically. It's the show. It's not even the shows that are straight bad. It's the shows that suck you in with a good key visual. The reason I learned to like trust it was because then I started going back to shows I actually liked,
mm-hmm.
and running the test again, and I noticed that like for every show that I consider pretty well made, all of the thumbnails in the episodes have a distinct character to each of them. Instead of if it feels like the same shot has been recreated in multiple of the thumbnails, that's a major flaw.
Well, any final thoughts?
This was a pretty good season.
Yeah, it was a pretty decent season. It's not bad at all.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, NineOuh, it's been good to have you on. Do you have anything you want to plug?
Read Screw the Omega. You can find it on my Twitter, which they will definitely link.
Yeah, we'll link all your stuff in the description.
Read Screw the Omega.
You can find me on Twitter at Tamika Draws and Blue Sky at Tamika Draws. I actually just opened a Newgrounds, so if you're nerdy enough to be on there, go and give me a follow in there.
People are still on Newgrounds? Has Newgrounds become like a new underground hub of like nerd culture again?
Surprisingly, kind of, yeah.
It actually still has a pretty thriving community. There's a lot of artists.
Hold on.
There's a lot of artists who are migrating there because they're not really getting reception on Twitter and other platforms. Like people are basically seeking out actual art platforms, and Newgrounds is one of the ones that they're going to. So, at Aarlon's recommendation, I also opened.
They still haven't improved the landing page. They still haven't improved anything about the like. It just looks like
exactly the same as it was.
It just looks like a fancier version of the same landing page they had in 2003, dog. Like,
well, this feels like one of those things where it's been that way for so long that if they change it, there'll be riots.
I mean, you gotta appreciate the aesthetic.
Well, I do like the democracy of how it presents art. Everybody gets a small fucking square. Everybody. All of you get to present your shit equally.
Except for when you like follow people. Then on your feed it looks more like on your personal feed it looks more like a traditional thing.
Yeah.
My links are all in the description. I'm currently working on an auto battler called Stick Syndicate, which you can find on Steam or at sticksyndicate.com. So go wishlist that.
In fact, the commercial for Stick Syndicate is about to play right now.
No.
And that was the commercial for Stick Syndicate, so be sure to look forward to that one, guys. In fact, this episode was sponsored by Stick Syndicate.
Bruh. Well, I think that's everything we have to say.
Yes, it is.
everyone say bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye. Sayonara. Jane.